I'm right or wrong. She's quite the sensation, but the list goes on and on. Touching on her tattoos, while she does coke in the bathroom, while the band plays in the back room, trying to take her out the venue. She's somebody that don't need nobody. She's just stuck in my head. Lips of satisfaction, I can't get no reaction. She's just stuck in my head. She's somebody that don't need nobody. She's still stuck in my head. Lips of satisfaction, I can't get no reaction. She's still stuck in my head. Yeah, I want a conversation, but her body's moving all night long. I should tell her what I'm thinking, but those hips are moving way too fast. She's looking like she doesn't even see me. How do I get this girl's attention? Stage lights are so bright and they're flashing. Think my ego is falling and I'm crashing. She's somebody that don't need nobody. She's still stuck in my head. Lips of satisfaction, I can't get no reaction. She's still stuck in my head. Touching on her tattoos, while she does coke in the bathroom. She's somebody that don't need somebody, that don't need nobody, that don't need somebody. Somebody needs somebody, don't need nobody but her. I'm nobody without her. Yeah, I got a fever. It's 103. Feel my heart sinking since she left me. Been dreaming about her since she been gone. Was until she walked out the door, I realized I was wrong. Yeah, I got a fever. It's 103. Feel my heart sinking since she left me. Have I lost my mind? Feels like driving in circles, a never-ending road. Emotions sick to my stomach from losing the one I love. My regrets, they still echo as my head starts to ring. That one love I can't let go. She's the only one who meant something. Yeah, I got a fever, and it's killing me. Constant overthinking about why she left me. Mary, you couldn't give in, killed that canary. We set the world on fire, can't be contained. Gonna go haywire, 'cause we're the birds of prey. We are birds of, 'cause we're the birds of prey. Find out what feeds the rage and fuels the flame. You find out what feeds the rage and fuels the flame. You find out what feeds the rage and fuels the flame. We set the world on fire, can't be contained. Gonna go haywire, 'cause we're the birds of prey. We are birds of, 'cause we're the birds of prey. We are birds of, 'cause we're the birds of prey.
The racist pianist. The foundering, aka Kylan, here on YouTube. Boy, yeah, obviously I know that there's other drama going on. I know. Diesel, why aren't you? Do you know about the blah blah blah? Yes, the answer is yes. I always know, guys. I always know. I didn't start covering it, and I'm not starting now. I just kind of am gonna just do whatever. So there's that. But this guy was really fucking weird and interesting, so it was worth the look-see into. For those of you that don't remember, Kylan is a pianist who has been, quote-unquote, archiving old music, okay? And by archiving old music, I mean he's playing some crazy songs. Some titles of his music includes There's an N-Word in the Moon, Mary's Gone with the C Word. Let's see. That Yaller Gal. The Sensitive C Word. Hail Hitler by Ye. Piano cover. The C Word's Christmas Dinner. The Mormon C Word. Okay. God damn, there's a lot of ones. The C Word Serenade. Dar'll be an N-word missing. There be an N-word missing. Mammy's little pumpkin-colored C-words. Wait, there's more. The C-word that had the razor. That just felt racist to say. I have to keep checking myself because I'll read stuff without acknowledging the existence of the fact that there's a slur there. And so I keep almost accidentally saying the C word. When a C word sits in the presidential chair. Yeah, not colon. So, like, let's say I was talking about an animal known as a raccoon. Okay? Now, let's say I get rid of the first half of that word because it's 2 syllables, and I just leave the last syllable. Okay? That's what it is. He has a song here that's just T-word, 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 which is the slur for a trans individual. And then he has a song called C-word, 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 which is the word for black people. God damn. There's a lot of bad ones. If you're still like, Diesel, this doesn't really make any sense to me. Can you please play a song from his library? We'll listen to we'll take a listen to There Be an N-Word Missing.
Old Frog-Eyed Jones got glued last week to Arabella Blake. He done invited all the coons to have some wine and cake. The niggers that assembled are were big black greasy Japs. They sang to
Oh my god. I want to know, like, what was the environment that developed such musical tracks? People say that we're really racist these days in society, but I would like to tell them how racist we were not but 200 years ago.
the chorus of this song while Jones was shooting craps. Oh, show me the black man that trifle with my baby, where I'm the baboon that stole my gal away. If I
All of these songs, by the way, that I've listened to are like, I'm a white man with a wife and a black man came to town. He fucked her really good and she left before I found out. She ran away and had a man who fucked her really good. All of the songs are like BBC cock songs, dude. All of the songs are like that. All of them are like, they were a really big greasy ape and my wife loved it.
I caught a freckled coon that busted up my honeymoon.
And then like, alternatively, the song ends with, and then I tracked him down, and then all my friends hanged, drawn, and quartered him.
There'll be a nigger missing till the judgment day.
Like, this is a song about hunting down a black man.
Now when the dice got good and hot and Jones was smiling gay, a freckled coon sneaked into house and stole the bride away. But when old Frog-Eye heard the news, he pulled his razor out, then started for that freckled coon, and these words he did shout. Oh, show me the black man that trifled with my baby, where I'm the baboon that stole my gal away. If I catch the freckled coon that busted up my honeymoon, there'll be a nigger missing till the judgment day.
So, guys, why would the N-word be missing until Judgment Day? One only hazards a guess as to what happened to thy fellow man that fine day. So Kylan over here used to go by the name Foundering, and he was on YouTube for like the last 20 years. So it turns out that he's been a pianist for a long time, and he was just kind of uploading normal content for a long time. But right around the pandemic, things start to change. So like here we can see Kylan's old content on Web Archive. He has been a pianist for a long time. A little crazy, still a little crazy, but not to the point where it's like esoteric racism beyond all comprehension. Yeah, he's playing with his pianist. Yeah, long COVID. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I 100% think COVID like fucked up a lot of people's brains. I think there was some serious like brain damage, right? But right around the culture war, he starts to get a lot more active in giving his opinion on things. Some of those opinions are uncouth, to say the least, and we can see that a lot of these old videos are on Odyssey, because he's had all of his content re-uploaded to that. He's done a lot of pianist work in church. He was a church organist, and he would do a lot of performances in a church, and obviously he wasn't able to do that once the pandemic started. Let's see. What was COVID? It was like fucking, wow, 6 years ago now. God. Yeah, so then he started uploading from his house, and his house piano. And he started making these videos about how YouTube is suppressing him and how he's got to like leave. And he was also doing like conspiracy stuff. So I'm going to show the leaving YouTube thing, and then we're going to watch some of his stuff where he's talking about more specific conspiracies, because it's around all the same time, about 6 years ago, but this one predates the 2020 conspiracy stuff.
YouTube, we need to talk. I guess this is a bit overdue. You know, but we've been together for most of my adult life. And
dude, he's such a queer little lesbian. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I just listened to this N-word on the moon for like fucking the last 2 hours, all right?
I guess we both know that things aren't quite what they used to be.
This is the guy who plays the minstrel songs, yes.
That also, over the years, I've had time to realize that, and others, that you aren't, maybe you never were that way. Quite what we thought. And sure, we're all realizing who we are. This is an ever-evolving process. Us on a personal level and along with the tech industry and social media. But it's been fascinating, at least from my perspective, over the last decade and a half, couple decades, to see how things have developed and where they're heading to. And so here I am giving a little bit of my own YouTube Me Too moment here.
Dude, YouTube Me Too moment? Dude, I can't believe YouTube raped him.
It's particularly poignant or relevant or interesting, but more that I just want to kind of get it off my chest a little bit, just because I think it's, I think it's interesting from my perspective, just my own journey and the patterns I've observed on my channel over the years, and just the general movement of YouTube as a medium, as a artistic medium, at least that's my perspective.
Oh my God.
As an artist. Now, there's a lot of hullabaloo recently about the changes that are happening, and people are going to be losing their livelihoods, and it's got me to think. Well, I guess not like, oh, told you so, or anything like that, but in some ways, I'm grateful that I never went that route. There was a time when I made that decision. There was a little bit of a fork in the road for me. Well, am I going to go down the route of marketing myself in this idea of who I am as an artist in this capacity? Am I going to be doing the clickbait? Not necessarily you have to do that route to be successful, but am I going to be calling for likes and subscribe and all that? And I've never once done that on my channel ever, just because it just...
White man thinking about how black people are while having an East African hairline is definitely a mood. You know what's so funny is that, like, in the race to the bottom to be the most racist, everybody isn't white enough.
Always seems so unnatural and not about who I am and what I'm doing, which is I just want to share stuff for free. And the whole monetization aspect and the copyright claiming, and again, that's all been discussed ad nauseum. Many high-profile channels are now discussing this, and they have for years, about how content creators are getting screwed, and how there's essentially an entire industry that has developed around making fraudulent copyright claims. And I've gotten many of my videos claimed by a lot of these companies, and I haven't fought any of them just because it's just not worth my time. One, I don't make money off of my channel. I have monetized my videos in the past, but very little. I don't get any money from that, and I've stopped monetizing my videos for the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
But really, we've reached sort of a turning point where it's at what point do I want to keep feeding the beasts? You know what I mean? Even in my last sort of experimental few videos of doing a live stream for the first time, I made 3 videos of about 2 hours-ish each, and I took some requests, and I mostly played old-time ragtime novelty and stride piano stuff. Well, I got copyright claims on all of them for multiple songs, and they all were fraudulent, and they were all from sketchy companies. I don't want to hash out each one, but it's the same old nonsense, and these are songs that are in the public domain, or they're claiming copyright of recordings of other artists that have made of them, but they're not the original piece, so they can't really...
All very interesting friend.
spend my time to feed this beast, which is essentially...
To be clear, he never left. YouTubers be like, I will leave the platform. Sticks around, keeps uploading, nothing changes.
allowing YouTube and these companies, these bogus companies to, or whoever they are, individuals, to claim my content and make money off of it, and then therefore they run ads off of it. So I'm not interested in making money. That's fine. I don't care about that and the success aspect of it. I've chosen a very specific niche genre, ragtime, and it's not for everybody. I recognize that. But if other people are going to make money off of what I'm doing and I can't do anything about it, well, there's no point, right? That's silly, and I'm not gonna willingly participate in fraud, right? So it's, again, kind of with heavy heart that I have to say that I can't really justify sharing my content on YouTube anymore. I'd be happy to talk about things like this, but I'm not going to share my art in general, which gets to a bigger picture here of where I see my career.
He was like, his path to racist ragtime pianist was, they keep trying to copyright claim my non-racist music, so if I just post the racist music, no one will come after it.
Going as I'm getting a little bit older, and maybe I can save that for another discussion, but it is tough where, I'd be happy to move to BitChute, and start streaming on Twitch and Mixer and these places, but I have to start from scratch. I have maybe 6 followers on Twitch and none on Mixer. I don't have the same level of drive and passion that I did when I was 19, 20, first getting into this, to really, to push myself to make it out. I'm content with what I've done. I've done a lot. I want to accomplish more, but I'm not interested in reinventing myself. And, just because of what I've seen, the patterns of what people want.
This ain't the same guy we watched last time, isn't it? No, this is.
From playing live for years and years and years and sort of gauging the response.
This is the racist guy,
what they
yes.
want to hear and what makes them happy. It's been very fascinating to watch as someone who I love patterns. That's just my shtick. I'm known for, at least in the piano ragtime community, being an excellent sight reader, because in my opinion I'm really good at looking ahead and seeing where the patterns are coming next. I can tell by just looking.
He's good at seeing patterns. No. So one of the things when you watch conspiracy content, or you look at conspiracy content, and we've even seen it recently with the Epstein stuff, is that schizos will go and talk about how they see patterns, how they notice trends, right? And it's one of two ways it could go, right? It's patterns is you see that there's actually a secret cabal of elite, or patterns is that you understand that insane shit about black people or something.
Looking at a page and I pick out the patterns really fast. I also have that skill with word games. Ever since I was a kid, I loved Boggle in particular, but Scrabble, anything with words and anagrams, and I would always annoy my family by anagramming things and reading words backwards just because it was, something to do. And growing up with the early years of the internet, Yahoo
What's
Games
up, guys?
and stuff,
What's up?
was able to compete against people from around the world that were really good too.
They
And
call him the
with power of the
ragtime
internet,
noticer. It's a villain in fucking Watchmen. Is a guy who plays the piano and he's giga racist.
we had tools that really people didn't have before to hone our skills, where we could actually see all the words that we missed, for example, in a Boggle board, and we could build our vocabulary that way. And since then, I've risen the ranks, I guess, so to speak, in the competitive word game world, and certainly I'm, in terms of anagramming and Boggle abilities, in the top 10 players in the world. And that, is coming not just from me. That's a pretty general consensus there. So
he's that was another thing. Yeah, that was another thing. He was also Diesel. I used to watch Alex Jones. Should I get tested? Look, if you are in my chat, there is a 70% chance you're neurodivergent. Just off rip, okay?
Again, I know patterns. I recognize them really well.
He also got mad at Scrabble because they got rid of a bunch of slurs from what I recall. We'll get to that.
I've observed the patterns on my videos, and I noticed questionable things happening to my channel as early as 2007, 2008. And that coincided around the time when I started changing my course and maybe being a little more outspoken politically, and just in terms of my content. It was becoming a little more, not necessarily edgy, but certainly not mainstream. The first few videos I recorded were purely, ragtime stride piano based, because that's what I was heavily steeped in at the time. I had totally immersed myself in just all things, Fats Waller, Art Tatum, even a little Oscar Peterson and that stuff. But around 2007, I started writing songs and putting those on YouTube, and noticing some changes on my channel. And in terms of, okay, sure, maybe they weren't as accessible.
Guys, he was noticing changes on his channel, guys. He was noticing the changes. You know, the thing is, right, he's thinking, and I know where this is going, where it's like, oh, YouTube was sandbagging me. YouTube was keeping me from being successful. The reality for the content he's doing is that it's a really small niche of people, right? I think now with his new channel, people are subscribing not for anything other than the shock value or because they're racist. I don't even think they're really like impressed or give a shit about his piano skills. You know, it's like there's a limited upward momentum there, and it's already a small community. So your success as a ragtime pianist now is not indicative of how many ragtime aficionados there are. Your subscriber count is indicative of how many racists there are, or how many people think it's funny that you post racist songs. And I'd be lying if I said it isn't funny, but that does not mean that I am excited about your pianist behavior.
And that's definitely a part of it. But I remember in particular, in 2007, I wrote a song and uploaded called The Shining Marquee. And in the description, I put a long diatribe, kind of I could say called anti-war, specifically calling out the Iraq War, and very, for the first time I remember
The Iraq War to like a Jewish deep state truther is actually a more common train than I would expect.
well, this is the first time I'm making this sort of
How old is this guy? He's like a millennial, so he's like not young.
political statement. I didn't really have my name associated with my YouTube channel yet, but clearly I was using some buzzwords and keywords that were very controversial. Not controversial, but just significant at the time.
You could post whatever back in 2007 on YouTube. There was literally nothing stopping you.
And this was coming from, I grew up being very confused and skeptical of, what I learned about the Vietnam War, growing up in the 90s, living through 9/11, and then...
Dude, anti-war millennial turns into a Jewish truther racist.
Ragtime with an F instead of A&R.
Dude,
seeing the reaction to that, my neighbor, the guy who I was named after, actually, was killed in 2003 in Iraq, fighting in Iraq. And it really, when I was at college...
No, he learned about Vietnam as a child in school. And then he had his worldview questioned once he got older. So he is talking about an experience that many people have, right? When you are young, I'm explaining something that you all understand and innately know, so I'm talking to nobody here, right? When you are young, you grow up in a world where people need to explain things to you. And the way that people explain things to you are by presenting simple narratives. And as you get older, those narratives get a little bit more complicated, right? Maybe in middle school, you grow up during the War on Terror. They say in 2001, some bad men kidnapped or like plane napped a plane and then killed a lot of people. And so we needed to go to war to stop the bad men from doing that again. That's what they tell you in elementary school. You get to high school, and you start learning about the intricacies of that, right? It's a few years into the War on Terror, and there's a lot more growing animosity towards it. Maybe you hear some stuff about, maybe there's a lot of, we're kind of overreaching, we're overstaying our welcome. The war in Afghanistan is going on too long. You still have these preconceptions about the world, the good and the bad, but you start to learn that there's some more specifics to that, right? Maybe you learn that, oh, the people of Afghanistan have been, subjugated by various powers coming into the country and trying to inflict their will on its people. And so, you learn that the CIA started funding the Mujahideen to fight the Soviets during the Cold War in a proxy war, right? Maybe you learn that. And maybe you learn about the atrocities that America did, right? But you still think America's fundamentally the good guy. And then you get a little older, right? And you're in college, and now you're really trying to figure out what your identities are. So now you start reading a lot of the reactions to these things. And you learn about the other side, right? You learn about all these things. So maybe by now you're 21 and your opinions on a situation flip wildly, right? And you believe completely different things because what you knew wasn't what it was. You realize that it's more nuanced, right? And then by the time you're an adult, you realize that, like, oh, actually, there are no good and bad guys. These simple narratives don't really make sense. There's a lot of complexities here. The problem is that a lot of people don't get to that point anymore. What's been happening is that people routinely get stuck in the simple narrative mindset. People think, oh, things are that simple. Things can be decided with good and bad. Or for some reason, old people also revert to the narratives must be simple, or therefore I can't understand it. Part of the problem with educating kids on world issues is their parents or even teachers can push their biases onto them, and the kids not knowing any better could take after them. Yeah. Yeah, people get stuck in a legal mindset. Yeah, and then so a lot of conspiracy heads are people who learn the reality of things, and instead of adjusting to the worldview, they threw the entire baby out with the bathwater. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, they hear and they see these things, and they go, it's rotten to the core, and they start believing in crazy things.
Time, and they didn't really they didn't really understand here I was with firsthand experience of the tragedy of war, and I didn't really see a really understanding of my peers that this was actually real and this was happening right now around us. Sure, there was general anti-war sentiment, but it wasn't like questioning the narrative, which we now know to be generally false. And then here I am just writing songs, and I dropped out of college. I dropped out of college right at the end of 2004, and then YouTube shows up in 2005. I remember spending about a year kind of being like, oh, I'm too cool for YouTube. I don't want to take that plunge. But then I had a friend had recorded me and put me up, and I was like, oh, all right, I guess I'm already on, so I might as well start. And so I started making videos. And then, again, I started changing my tone a little bit. And really from that point on, I felt like YouTube has never promoted any of my videos, with the exception of the ones that are, kind of links with the ragtime ones, the Animaniacs, the Nations of the World one, and the Tom Lehrer Elements song. Those ones are sort of caught in a little of a network where they are, they're continually getting views pretty much for all time. But basically everything else, all of my other successful videos have come from me posting them on social media, mostly Reddit, but going further back. I remember my first viral video was from Dig. I posted my Mario.
Dude, this guy's old school. He was posting on Dig. It's like, what things got successful? And it makes sense that like the Animaniacs or like cover songs that he did got successful back then, because people were searching out for that stuff. Vivo wasn't on YouTube back then. It was kind of new to get the music on YouTube that you could stream whenever you want, So like, of course those videos were successful. It wasn't like they were hiding anything. That's just what was going to be successful.
Video, Ragtime Mario video on dig.com back in 2009, and I got 100,000 views in a day. And that was stunning to me. I never had anything like that happen. The amount of people that were interested in me and just contacting me, and it was overwhelming, and it was like a thunderstorm. It was crazy. And I couldn't keep up with it. I was getting a hit from all directions, and then all of a sudden, poof, it was gone. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's the fleeting nature of this kind of stuff. Well, might as well just keep at it. And then the same thing happened a few times on Reddit. I learned a song that a Redditor had discovered that his grandparents had written, and I played it for him and got a bunch of about 60,000 views and got a bunch of attention. Again, it was really cool. I started making some connections, but then sort of disappeared again. And that happened in a broader sense when I made my Inspector Gadget in the Hall of the Mountain King video, which was just kind of made at the perfect place at the perfect time. I used the perfect title on Reddit when I submitted it, and it hit #1 on the music subreddit. It was on the front page all day, giving it 600,000 views. And that is the one time that YouTube has put me on their trending music page. But it wasn't, the Reddit post came first, right? YouTube didn't make me trending. It was trending because it was front page on Reddit all day, just to be clear about that. And that was the most revealing, I think, of any of the social media experiences I've ever had. Just, again, the amount of attention and people interested in congratulations and people expressing undying fandom. And then I was like, okay, this is my moment. I got 600,000 views in a day. And then a few days later, I start pumping out videos again. Poof. It was crickets. It was incredible. I never experienced anything like it. It was, and again, I'm not like, oh, what was me?
It's kind of sounding like this guy got addicted to the attention. It sounds like, when somebody does like hardcore drugs and they're like, the high was like nothing you'd ever experience. I understand what he's like describing right there with like the feeling and sensation, and it's what you chase after as like a YouTuber. But then he's like allowing his lack of success to dictate his entire fucking worldview. If he had kept doing covers, he would have been big into has-been fandom. Dude, he's got the perfect Tumblr phenotype to be like a big Tumblr like has-been guy for sure.
everybody forgot about me, but it was so fleeting, like my past experiences, that it was really stunning. I really, over the years, I've sort of, as kind of an in-joke to myself, coined a term that I call it the Joshua Bell effect. I know that's a little silly. Joshua Bell is a really famous violinist, incredibly accomplished, one of the best in the world. And there's a famous sort of incident or story that happened where he, I think, played in the subway in New York, I want to say. You know, he's the best violinist in the world, just playing busking, right? And there's footage, I guess everyone sort of just walks by and doesn't really pay attention, you know, to the greatest violinists. And I know, you know, people are busy, they don't have time to listen to more than 3 seconds to every person they hear, but it sort of touches at a bigger issue in society in general, where we are now conditioned to really rely on other people to determine whether or not something is particularly of artistic value, if that makes sense.
I don't even think it's like determining artistic value either. I mean, it's like the value of art is determined like by either the tastemakers or, I guess, yeah, collectively the internet. But like before the internet, taste was determined by like the upper crust of society. After the internet, you know, it's like it's determined by the collective, you know. So it's yeah, some people stop, some people will pay attention, others will pass on by.
In other words, if it's not popular and if everyone isn't amazing and being amazed by it, then it's not really amazing, right? We are now so conditioned to look for these social cues that we've forgotten to judge for ourselves about what has artistic merit, right?
Like it's a reasonable like statement he's making, but also in the same respect, it's like not acknowledging how art becomes the things that you remember it to be. And like on top of that, it's like your popularity as a ragtime pianist is not the same thing as your skill as a ragtime pianist. Those things are not directly correlated. There is correlation to a point, but after a certain point, there's not.
And here I was. Actually, I thought the video was crap. The one I made, the Inspector Gadget one, there was mistakes all over the place. It got popular and everyone thought it was great. And I went with it. And I realized everyone thought it was great because everyone else was watching it and thinking it was great. And
no, that's not why they were thinking it was great. It's because your level of competency was high for the time, right? Like maybe now you wouldn't stand out, but like for the time, yeah, that was something fucking different. That was something special for a lot of people. And a reason that a lot of people liked it isn't because their peers were saying it was good. The reason a lot of people liked it is because they grew up with Inspector Gadget and were happy to see somebody bring back a piece of nostalgia. Because in 2007, we weren't inundated with an endless stream of nostalgia slop.
The only way that I was going to make it was to keep up with this to an exhausting degree. And I have no interest in that. I'm an artist, right? I follow my own passions. I might go a month or two without making a video, and I would lose my whole livelihood.
This guy would have actually been hilariously successful and been able to achieve all of his wildest artistic dreams if he had just kept up with it. He would have been able to do everything that he dreams of in his heart, but instead he decided to stop and then wake up one day and become racist.
If that happens, you know, if creators do that, and that doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. So it didn't happen overnight, but certainly that Inspector Gadget video in 2013 was a big turning point in terms of how I viewed this whole rat race, to be honest. Ironic that I would eventually join and tour with a popular band that was kind of part of that rat race, but that's a different story for a different time. The next year after that Inspector Gadget video, I made one of the most interesting and important videos I've ever made.
Yeah, another victim of the YouTube cloud grinder.
Foil. I'm very proud of it, and it's the first in a series of alternate videos, music videos that I've made, that I think firmly cemented my persona non grata, right, or my sort of shit list of YouTube channels, which I believe I'm on. And that was really the first time I thought that, oh my gosh, I have tangible evidence that YouTube is not only censoring my video, but it's removing view counts. And I noticed as early, I want to say 2009, 10, I was taking screenshots of YouTube actually removing views of my videos. And,
he was a noticer, guys. He was a noticer. I don't think I've ever heard of YouTube removing views. I'm not particularly privy of that. I've heard of the subscriber thing, but I haven't heard this other thing.
Maybe, I guess a lot of that could be corrections and other things that YouTube does, but really it was only my controversial videos that it was happening. And then I made this foil video, and it was my adding to a Weird Al Yankovic video. And I have a SoundCloud account that is no, it's like I don't know, like 30 followers or something. I sometimes post my YouTube audio to my SoundCloud. I always post my link from my YouTube to my SoundCloud. Well, the audio to that Foil song got, I don't know, 15, 20,000 listens. And I know that my YouTube video was trending, or at least I searched for the word foil and it was number 2 or 3. So just the word foil was bringing it up. So people were watching it. It was being linked on multiple websites, and I had forums like that were talking about it.
Dude, there was forums, guys.
YouTube view count was frozen at 7,000 for, I don't know, months and maybe even years. It wasn't frozen, but it was moving up like one at a time and stayed in the 7,000 range. Whereas my SoundCloud one, so they're clearly linked together, and none of my other SoundCloud ones have listens, except for the Inspector Gadget, which again is linked to the one, the video with 600,000 views. So clearly it was going viral.
Okay, all right. You would have been famous, but then society said no famousness for you. Okay, we'll listen to the Shining Marquee music now. Forums, this guy is famous. Yeah, what's happening, Forum? Dude, hold on. Let me put it on normal speed. It's 2007, guys.
Hunting for that open door, the one that opens for the girls and boys who go to war. Once they're through, they can't come back. Truly, we're into our necks.
He was like a high schooler when he put this out, dude.
Tell me something that I shouldn't know. Tell me somewhere where I shouldn't go. I gone a shopping spree. Gee, how I wish it all were free. From fear, we're fighting fear, and fear has won the year.
He's legitimately talented, too. He's legitimately talented. It's actually such a shame.
And all eyes are on the shining marquee. It says we're just in time for musicals and dollar signs and miracles. It seems quite strange to hear it, 'cause the truth is nowhere near it. It's
God damn. God damn. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I know this is a bit of a departure from my other videos. This is an original song that I finished writing about a week ago that I feel is quite relevant to the state of the world today, and I felt compelled to make a video. Sorry for the quality if the vid isn't as good as usual. But as you can see, I milked it, so at least the audio is decent. About halfway through, one of the keys tops flies off. Don't worry, it happens. That's about a key half a dozen times, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck? Okay. Let's see. Let's see. This one for open. Look at boys that go to war. Once they're through, they can't come back. Too late. We're into our next. So he's singing about the Iraq War, which is crazy. That's how long ago this was. But it's an anti-war video. That was, you know, kind of the style at the time, you know. God damn. And it's so annoying because, like, obviously, yeah, I agree with the Iraq War stuff, but, like, it's rough. It's rough. We're gonna get into some rough ones. All right. There's some sad stuff. Let's see. All right. So now we're going to get into when he became John Racist. Okay. He talks about YouTube suppressing his channel some more. And we finally get into the year of 2020.
And then a few months ago, I uploaded another video, a song called...
We'll go back to the beginning. Is this Joker Faux Ledoux? Is this that Joker sequel?
1 month and 1 day ago, I uploaded a video basically saying I was done with YouTube. And then a few months ago, I uploaded another video, a song called Pandemic Dance. search for those words, pandemic dance, in YouTube, you won't find it. Try it right now. Scroll for miles, it's not there. It'll show up if you search for Do the Rona, which is the secondary title in parentheses. But it has been removed from the search results if you search for the words pandemic dance. And I knew that was going to happen. That's part of the reason why I shared it.
Dude, I like this guy's like a character in a musical. It's almost like the theatrics to it are just so fucking weird.
Even after I said I'd stop uploading videos. I wrote that song and shared it on YouTube for a couple reasons. The first was I felt artistically and even morally obligated to say something using the platform that I have about this whole COVID thing. I've been watching a lot of JP Sears at Awaken with JP.
Okay, I just want us all to understand the through line here. This guy was trapped in his house during COVID, and he already felt that YouTube was suppressing his regular music. So during the pandemic, when he has nothing but time on his hands, he starts watching Jordan Peterson during the pandemic and being trapped inside, and is not able to do the one thing that brings him joy. Well, I wonder what would happen if you just started watching Jordan Peterson and assumedly contemporaries at the time, and you got mad about COVID.
And he's just been hitting home video after video over the hypocrisy of this debacle.
The hypocrisy of COVID. And so his slide down the all right pipeline begins. I feel that being trapped inside for so long was really rough for a lot of Americans. It really wasn't that big of a deal, guys. All right. We could have done it just fine, but a lot of you seem to have really struggled with it. I loved it. I'm annoyed. I definitely should have taken more advantage of 2020. I didn't. I spent more time gaming when I should have been grinding.
And it got me to realize, well, it was inspiring for one, but it got me to realize just how important artists are. We are allowed to say certain things that other people aren't, and that is crucial to a fundamental.
So another thing is that he seems to view himself as a very highbrow artist. Obviously that view has clearly changed considering he's making N-Word on the Moon songs, but damn.
Free and open society. And I saw JP as sort of the court jester that is the one guy in the kingdom with the ability and the audacity to mock the king to his face.
What king? The president? What? Who is JP mocking?
That is so important. And
dude, he was mocking Dr. Fauci.
that is the freedom that is under assault right now.
I learned how to code. Listen, guys, I know you were all very successful and you learned a lot of skills during COVID. I didn't.
So I wrote that pandemic dance song in 2 days. Boom. I felt so much better. It was like a weight had been lifted. But the other reason why I did it, again, was to show you all just how censored I am. And this is not about me.
You're
I'm not
irrelevant.
trying to go, woe is me over here.
A lot of the time, these guys, and this was a really popular argument, and it's still a popular argument now, even though it's clearly not true. But this whole, I'm being censored because, my content is good, YouTube's just not showing it to anybody. look, man, if you upload a video and nobody fucking watches it, they're just not really interested in the topic. Or YouTube hasn't found the right people that are interested in the topic. It's a snowball effect, and it snowballs down the hill, all right? Like you just didn't get successful because the shit you were doing was something that was niche anyway, all right? And it wasn't your fucking time. It's okay, but like, let's not say that you were being systemically put down by YouTube. What, you think YouTube was going out of their way to like put the thumb on the scale against you? There are other people that would have put the thumb on the scale of first rather than you. Oops.
If you don't play by the rules, they'll come for you. It doesn't matter if you have 600 subscribers or 6,000 like my channel or
6,000 is nothing.
600,000.
Maybe that would be something.
And I noticed this happening to me in my channel back when I first started making videos. I've been here for 13 years. That's longer than some folks who are watching my channel have been alive, which is crazy to think about. And back in 2007, 2008, I started writing anti-war, anti-bankster videos. And I noticed...
Anti-bankster. Dude, this guy was in on it, dude. This is just like Tim Pool, dude. It's like when Tim Pool was like, Occupy Wall Street. He was like, Occupy Piano.
My channel was changing. It was not acting the same. I saw views being actually removed from the view count. I saw my subscriber count dropping, and I documented all of this because I have an eye for patterns. That's my thing.
You have an eye for patterns, dude. Guys, look, I don't want to be that wokey, but like when a guy say that they have an eye for patterns, they're just like, that's a dog whistle, okay? That's a dog whistle. Yeah, Mouthy Buddha also had an eye for patterns.
I'm a word guy.
I'm a word
Scrabble
guy.
nerd. And then after a few years, by around 2014, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write a song.
Eye for patterns is called schizophrenia.
And see how
Yes, Brian Mullen also claimed to have an eye for patterns.
far they'll go to censor me, and they did. I did a cover of a Weird Al song, which was itself a cover of a Lord song, and I saw some really good potential for some material that I could just throw in there, and I rewrote the song and added everything I could every conspiracy I can think of. So YouTube can't just delete the video, you know, if it's just an artist singing about conspiracies. But what they will do instead of just outright deleting it is they'll suppress it, they'll throttle it, they'll censor it. Now I have a SoundCloud account.
The reality is, it's just that a lot of this stuff wasn't really that big, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I used to do this too, where I would bitch and moan that my channel isn't as successful or this or that, and that it must be YouTube, but like, no, it's not YouTube. It's you, okay? It's you. I assumed eye for patterns was code for autistic. It could be. Things can be two things.
Maybe 150 listeners. It's minimal. I have absolutely negligible activity on my SoundCloud account. But what I do have are quite a few listens on pieces that are directly linked from my YouTube channel on certain videos that have gone viral. Now I have a select number of videos, like the Animaniacs one, the Nations of the World, the Capitals one, the Tom Lehrer Elements song, that have over 100,000 views. And in the description of those videos, I link to my SoundCloud page where you can download that song directly. Now, because of that, those specific songs on my SoundCloud have 5,000.
I gotta look up these other songs. Hold on. I need to get these other songs. Let's see. Here we go. This is 2014 that he made this video.
I never seem to finish all my food. I always get a doggy bag from the waiter.
Check out my sound KKK cloud.
But I just keep what's still unchewed. And I take it home, save it for later. But then I deal with fungal rot, bacterial formation, microbes, enzymes, mold, and oxidation. I don't care. I've got a secret trick up my sleeve. I never bother with baggies, glass jars, Tupperware containers, plastic cling wrap.
Dono for streaming every day of the shutdown. Lol.
I think it's gonna end soon. I think it's gonna end soon.
Really a no-brainer. I just like to keep all my flavors sealed and tight with aluminum foil. Never settle
Why do I fuck with this? Because it's a Weird Al song.
for less. That kind of wrap is just the best to keep your sandwich nice and fresh. I'll put it in your cooler. Eat it when you're ready, or maybe you'll choose some refreshing herbal tea.
Yeah, so Weird Al did a cover of a Lorde song, and then he did a cover of the Weird Al cover.
Oh, by the way, I've cracked the code. I figured out the shadow organization, and the Illuminati know that they're finally primed for world
Yeah, dude, Jordan Peterson fucking ruined this guy.
domination. And soon you got black helicopters coming across the border, puppet masters for the New World Order.
Never mind. No, guys, this is what the Weird Al song is like. The Weird Al song starts with the tinfoil thing, and then this is where the photo of Weird Al with the tinfoil on his head comes from.
Be aware, there's always someone that's watching you, and still the government won't admit they faked the whole moon landing. Thought control is psychotronic scanning, I don't mind that. I'm protected cause I made this hat from aluminum foil. Wear a hat that's foil lined in case an alien's inclined.
But he actually means it. I don't think he means it yet. I don't think he's fallen off the cliff, you know? We're like looking at a guy before he's fallen down the alt-right pipeline. This was 2014, okay? Gamergate was just a twinkle in the eye of Harambe.
Or read your mind, it looks a bit peculiar. Seems a little crazy, but someday I'll prove there's a big conspiracy. The government has compromised the press. The NSA knows everything. They've seen your movies. Our basic rights under duress. It's all upside down, like a dystopic movie. And after World War II, the U.S. used up a bunch of Nazis. Lady Di wasn't good by paparazzi.
You know what's crazy? Now that the Jeffrey Epstein fight, there's a very good chance that Princess Di was actually killed by not a car accident.
They don't care. They drove my cases into a tree, and we're all drowning in chemtrails. HARP is making me all spastic. GMOs and BPA and plastic everywhere. That's why I place upon my hair some aluminum foil.
Yeah, he's really good. That is the saddest thing, is that he's really good.
Cover you with mud, I'll make you do some time for bud. Create a fascist kind of fuzz, don't let them be your rulers. Monsanto's killing all the bees, but don't let them rule.
Yeah, this video is a prediction of who he'd become in the future, for sure. Absolutely.
And 9/11 was a ruse. And by ruse, I mean the Jewish nation.
Is that in the original Foil song, by the way? Because Weird Al is Jewish. I would believe that was in there.
All the neocons knew that they justify them to their foundation. And now we've got more endless wars, but mostly for resources. Corporate whores all smiling as they torch us, they don't care. Because corporations are people too, and they're injecting us with vaccinations, getting into our brains and viral strains they're making in the basement. I don't mind that. Won't get infected because I made a hat from aluminum foil. Wear it even when you sleep, but don't be like the other sheep who are afraid to take the leap. They're just a bit deluded.
It really is a good cover, guys. It really is. The worst part, though, is that now he makes songs about the fucking Jewish butt worms that make you gay.
Calling me crazy while conspiring to prove.
No, yeah, what's weird is that he does think the Jews rule the world now.
There's such a thing as a conspiracy. Oh, 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 oh. The Matrix isn't just a dream. Keanu is the vampire king. Oh, 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 oh. Flying saucers in the
I looked up the lyrics and all that stuff was not in it. That's crazy.
air. They won't see you if you simply wear your aluminum foil. The Boston bombing used fake blood and said
Oh my god.
evil was just done.
No. That I would believe got him in trouble with YouTube. That got him in trouble with YouTube 100%.
Just keep on calling me the nut. You won't learn this in school. They don't teach conspiracies, but only a fool would fail to see through these fallacies.
Dude, he could be on like the InfoWars halftime show, dude.
There are way more diamonds than you guess. In Tuskegee was just obscene, and they knew it. No Wall Street clowns under arrest. And all these ancient mounds have a head in history. The Gulf of Tonkin was staged to get support for Vietnam. There are bloodlines dating back to Babylon, but I don't care. If they think they're grazing in the family tree. And the CIA is dealing crystal meth, coke, heroin, and hashish for space planes. So flying, colonizing galaxies, but don't be scared. It just so happens that
Yeah, the InfoWars halftime show, you know, that's...
I have some spare aluminum foil. MK Ultra was no fun, and by the way, it isn't done. It's how these sickos have their fun. Don't let the TV fool you. It'll tell you how to think, and that's how they rule. And they sure do it blatantly.
Yeah, this is from back in 2014, by the way. Yeah, some of this is aged pretty good, not gonna lie. Some of this is aged really bad.
And Tesla tried to share the loads, but they counted dollars and remained in the dark age. And Mockingbird, COINTELPRO
Oh my god.
were all funded with a secret source of money. In 1933, the gold was taken. The corporations bankrupt, the Titanic sank for the insurance, and the Federal Reserve's a crime. They get away with it all the time. And everybody knows that Jesus Christ suffered his death upon the cross. See, the Templars hide his considerable progeny. I'm telling you, I know exactly what Jesus would do. He would wear his tin foil. David, I might
Yeah, this guy's one to talk about COINTELPRO. Yeah.
have a point. They seem to like young girls and boys.
Oh, that one aged pretty good, not gonna lie.
And their life extension toys, how can we let them rule us?
Well, apparently with your ideology, I guess, so it's kind of your fault when you want to get into that. I'm sorry, did he say Jesus faked his death? Yeah, and the Templars hit his love child.
Obvious insanity, a criminal crew. Shakespearean tragedy. Oh, 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 oh. Shakespeare didn't write those plays. AIDS was made for blacks and gays.
What? Holy shit! Never mind. Maybe he was smoking that hashish back then, bro. What the fuck?
Oh, 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 oh. At the Grove they cremate care. If only Lincoln had the sense to wear his aluminum foil. Hitler lived a full life, and so did Ava Brown, his wife. The Vatican did help them hide. And what about the Jews?
Oh, that's gonna get you tagged by YouTube too.
6 million surely didn't die.
Oh my god, no way.
That's the biggest of the lies. And I'm a reasonable guy. And he's used to shoot. But freaking lasers in the sky for pyramid-inspired sign. It's how entire planet died. And Oswald
I know, selectively woke conspiracy theories.
wasn't the dude. He was just a patsy trying to prove there's a goddamn conspiracy.
God, that was really good, but boy oh boy did it go some places, right? Holy shit. That is yikes. Oh shit. Okay. So there's that. All right. So it's going to get worse. That was so good, it's so fucking bad. I know. I mean, he could actually write some good stuff. I know. I know. Anyway, it's going, so he has some conspiracy videos. Okay. It says Venezuela and Julian Assange, and this was in 2019 as well. And the manufactured resistance. He was writing this in 2019.
What is the Conspiracium? Or better, where is the Conspiracium? The Conspiracium is in the realm of imagination. It's a place for speculation, for self-discovery.
Dude, he's in his mind palace discovering conspiracies.
Serve as a conduit for the reinventing of who you think you are, your place in society, or even the nature of reality itself. It can be very disorienting and frightening to access this place. But with the proper preparation and guidance and in the right set and setting, it can be very enriching and informative and even enlightening. I think every well-adjusted adult needs to be able to responsibly access this place and on a regular basis. And a major aspect of the disarray and discord in society and in societal discourse is due to our neglecting this conspiracy. I think writer Robert Anton Wilson called it chapel perilous. It's the same idea. Now, the conspiracies that have been around for generations are all coming to light. And that's due to the internet and social media, all the interconnectedness that's just exploding right now. It was only a matter of time before all this stuff would start to come out. And
I mean, it's not like... I almost feel like it's hard to argue against this stuff in a post-Epstein world, right? A lot of conspiracies aren't true, though. Okay, that's the thing, right? Because a conspiracy only works if a lot of people agree to keep quiet about it. And even Epstein, for years, there's been leaks and years, okay, as they attempt to keep it quiet. So like a conspiracy doesn't work if you get too many people involved in it.
And everyone's being confronted with it. And since we haven't gone through on a whole, haven't gone through the proper training, it's causing a lot of negative reactions, and it's having a very deleterious effect on all of us on a personal level, but also on
Yeah,
society
I
level.
think he has kids, but don't go looking for
I think
it.
artists in general have a better time, easier time accessing this realm more responsibly, partly because the very nature of being artists is that you are constantly reinventing yourself.
Dude, this guy's like internal identity as an artist is like unraveling his fucking mind. Like, don't get me wrong, I obviously like dabble into conspiracy, especially with like all the stuff these days, but I try to keep it towards whatever is like officially coming out, and I try not to allow myself to go down these like schizophrenic visions. Okay.
Whenever I write a song, I have to now incorporate that into who I think I am, and that can be a very jarring experience, especially when you're first going through that. And as a result, I think I've developed this armor almost, and this propensity to question everything, but also, again, maintain that ability to entertain as the most outlandish notions possible, but not let that be a dirty or disorienting or scary thing. And since we have stopped, we have really hesitated from doing that, and we haven't cultivated that. And now that all these conspiracies that are very valid are coming out, we're having a hard time categorizing them and prioritizing them and incorporating them and then and addressing them in a responsible way.
Like we should obviously talk about Epstein and we should hold people to account for that, right? But it's like, was the moon landing fake? Probably not. Probably not. What do you think of the idea that Freddie was targeted by ICE? Seems plausible. But then don't all conspiracies? Yeah, that's the problem, right? A conspiracy sounds more tantalizing the more plausible it seems, right? Which is why I have a hard time with things like fucking the earth being flat. Because of the amount of people that would all need to agree that the world is flat.
Now they've taken this term conspiracy theorist, and specifically the CIA, in the aftermath of the Kennedy assassination and the Warren Commission, which was supposedly investigating it, and they've used it and they've weaponized it to denigrate an entire school of thought, which essentially equates.
Yeah, but the school of thought you're discussing, you know, collaborates with guys who think there's actual Jewish lizards from outer space.
With questioning any government mandated version of events. And the effect has been very long lasting. That term has a long.
Yeah, MK Ultra and COINTELPRO turned out to be true. Yeah, there's like examples of it turning out to be true. But think about how many times we've discussed the conspiracy theory that it hasn't been true. Okay? Oh, how were the pyramids made? Aliens. Fucking I can't think of a specific one right now, but I'm sure he'll bring stuff up.
Sordid history. And their successful weaponization of that term has been very pernicious. And it's still largely in effect today. Never mind the fact that
the lizard people one is just crazy, right? Because the lizard people one comes from this very basic human need that the evil people of the world are evil not because they're like you and me, but because they are actually monsters, right? But like that kind of removes your responsibility from it, because if they're monsters, you don't need to be too worried about it. But if they're just like you and me and they're just capable of complete evil, then that's a hard thing to reconcile with. The lizard people thing only exists because people can't reconcile with the evil of the world.
The folks that Kennedy had fired were on the Warren Commission investigating it. He likely would have not continued that disastrous Vietnam War. And he followed a president, Eisenhower, who was a general, who, as he was leaving, essentially gave them one of the more dire and stark warnings ever given to the American people from a departing president, saying, look, guys, and I'm paraphrasing, there's this chance for this entity called the military-industrial complex to get a disastrous amount of power. And lo and behold, we have decades after decades of endless war and not much accountability over it. And a lot of movements against it, but without much. It seems that every generation it has to be done again and again. It seems history is repeating itself, and it's repeating itself quicker and quicker. And now that this awakening, this veil is lifting.
The Great Awakening? Interesting.
They're getting more bold and brazen with how they're carrying out these conspiracies. and now everyone is whipped up into a frenzy over a lot of the very valid reasons to be upset. But now we are losing sight of some of the more egregious of them, and those have to do with
Yeah, real conspiracy or not conspiracy because of some dark cabal are like are like real conspiracies are just your KJ. The way that is written is killing me.
imperialism and genocide and greed, and the encroachment upon our rights and the freedom of speech, and really what is journalism, and what the definition of that, and what's the definition of speech, and the First Amendment, and all that jazz. It's very disheartening for me that the conversation is not about those things, and it is.
Is it?
About,
you know what's really crazy about all of this as we're going through it? The thing that's really outrageous is that he seems like he was a really normal guy. I think it's really normal for a lot of millennials of his time to have been anti-Iraq and Afghan war. And then as time goes on, he gets like sucked into this portal where his entire worldview is like reframed and reshuffled around, and he just becomes like a grotesque homunculus of like a ideology out on the other end.
how everyone is now,
which is such a shame because he's so talented.
Calling everyone else a conspiracy theorist, essentially. It's been a very successful.
But like maybe in some respect he was like more prone to it than the average person. Maybe he does actually have schizophrenia. Who knows?
Use of the divide and conquer meme that the powers that be have been using for generations. It takes the conversation and turns it antagonistic instead of a communal, and addressing things on communal level and solutions, and focusing on our sides above, which is where a lot of this pernicious behavior is coming.
Second attempt. Real conspiracies are conspiracies because dark cabals. They're conspiracies because oligarchs and the ruling class collaborate and are divorced from the social contract. Words are hard. Apparently for me too. I'm kind of tired. I like started streaming and I like ate some like chicken and chips. And then I'm like, fuck, I'm getting the itis.
Is originating from. It's been very disheartening to grow up in the 90s, especially, learning about the Vietnam War and the Cold War, and looking back with a sense of bewilderment almost, and having two Iraq wars unfolding, Afghanistan war, with similar disastrous consequences and for similar stupid reasons. Granted, there was a lot of talk, especially in the second Iraq war, about how the oil aspect of it, and then in Afghanistan about the opium aspect of it, poppy production. But now, today, all of this stuff seems to be par for the course, and I don't see much outrage over these things that traditionally have evoked a great deal of concern and outrage. Here we have a country, Venezuela, which very much falls into
That's been really interesting, huh?
this Monroe Doctrine sphere of influence that the U.S.
This video came out in 2019, guys. All right, so a little bit of background. So before Nicolas Maduro was in charge of Venezuela, Venezuela had a magnate of personality controlling the country by the name of Hugo Chavez, right? So for a long time, Venezuela was a Western democracy, and they actually had gained quite a bit of wealth from the oil trade, right? And they had made deals with American companies, and they had come in and yada, yada, yada. You've heard of that, right? You know, they came in. Venezuelans were actually adopting a pretty American style of life. And for a long time, that was happening. And they were getting a lot of money. And then Hugo Chavez had this big thing where he's like, I'm going to nationalize the oil production. So Hugo Chavez nationalizes the oil production. He kicks the companies out. And now he says the oil of Venezuela is for the people. And the money we make from our nationalized petroleum company will go to the people. What actually ended up happening is that all of the oil infrastructure ended up falling into disrepair over a long period of time. They would produce the oil, export the oil, but the rate of how many barrels that they were sending out and selling were going down year over year because they didn't have the mega corporation infrastructure to maintain a lot of the equipment that was used to produce the oil. So as a result, Venezuelans got poorer. Those company towns that blew up around those oil manufacturers all started to stop, right? And a lot of Venezuelans lost money. The US did not like that. Well, that's the thing, right? The US obviously wasn't happy about losing that, but they were still able to buy Venezuelan oil, right? The entire nationalizing thing of it was just for Chavez to line his own pockets, okay? So Chavez starts to line his own pockets from the oil wealth. The presidency gets very, very wealthy as the average Venezuelan gets very, very poor. All right. And so all of that happens. And then Hugo Chavez says the guy who's going to take my place is Nicolas Maduro. And like 9 days later, Nicolas Maduro died. And there was an election. And the election was supposed to be this thing where Venezuelans, I'm truncating a lot of history here. This is not a fucking history channel. And then Hugo Chavez dies, and there's an election. And this is where you hear about the opposition party running against Nicolas Maduro. So at the time, they run, they lose, bada bing, Nicolas Maduro is in charge, right? A second, truncating a bunch more history, a second run of elections comes around. They stop Maria Corina Machado from running against Nicolas Maduro in the Venezuelan election. Her party can run, but she can't run, and she becomes an enemy of the state. So the opposition party, which is like a liberal democratic party, a little bit more conservative than him, but they're like Democrats. They want to reinstate democratic election. They get like sent out into the woods, and they become like enemies to the state. Hugo Chavez rigs the election, gets reelected to office, or not Hugo Chavez. Nicolas Maduro gets reelected to office. The election is fake. And then the economy gets really bad in Venezuela. So if you're a tanky, the argument is American sanctions made Venezuelans poor and hungry. No, Venezuelans were going poor and hungry because of their own government, not because of American sanctions. The American sanctions obviously don't help that, obviously, because we are living in an interconnected economy. But no, the reason that Venezuelans got really poor around that time is because Nicolas Maduro was living luxury while he starved and weakened his people beneath him. And that's how Venezuela became broke. Okay. Anyway, catching up with the fucking waving tide of history here. The United States invades Venezuela. We don't ever help most of the time, though. Yeah, I honestly, the reason that a lot of the sanctions get put up on these things, they're targeted sanctions, right? So targeted sanctions are used to like seizing the assets and stopping the increase of wealth for people that we deem as like criminals or like warlords and stuff like that. Tons of countries do this. It's like really normal. It's not weird. We did it to Russia. The things that we were doing to Venezuela in terms of those sanctions are completely justified in my foreign policy opinion. But anyway, all of this to be said, to catch up with the rest of annals of history or whatever the fuck, we start bombing boats leaving Venezuela, okay? And assumedly, those boats that are leaving Venezuela are carrying drugs. But all of this talk of the war on drugs and stopping fentanyl is a pretext for reintroducing income generation in the United States, right? Because in Project 2025 and in the foreign policy doctrine of the United States of America, they talk about this thing called the Donroe Doctrine, right? So the Donroe Doctrine is a very comedically funny renaming of the Monroe Doctrine. So President James Monroe, I know that this is very fucking boring, okay? Yeah, the Nobel Peace Prize is a completely other ridiculous funny thing, but James Monroe said that, okay, America is separated from Europe by this large ocean. We as a country do not need to get involved in European affairs. What we need to focus on and develop our structures on in order to make America a prosperous country is on the near abroad, right? Now, I'm not approving of any of this whatsoever. Our European trading partners are obviously way more beneficial, but people like the Mexican government are obviously really important to American manufacturing. Being rude to them is probably a bad idea. So the Monroe Doctrine says that we're not going to focus on Europe. We're going to focus on the near abroad. The near abroad means our side of the planet. North America, South America, Central America, and Canada. And so all of that, right? So basically, it's a reposturing of the American military and government and apparatusi to focus on that section of the world, okay? So you focus on that section of the world and you basically exude your force and power over it. So that way you could ingratiate yourself with it and make yourself more wealthy, right? So that's the idea of the Monroe Doctrine in a very simple way, right? And now there is no good or bad. This is just what geopolitics is, right? Every single country is looking to see how they can play their cards to be the most successful version of their country, make a lot of money for the people that live there, make the country more prosperous, make it more, defensive, make it more militarily postured, make it in a better position, right? So anyway, the Monroe Doctrine is basically saying we're going to stop focusing on Europe and focus on the near abroad, right? And so every single thing that he has done in Venezuela, the president, aside from all the cringe Nobel Peace Prize crap, is basically dictated on the idea that if I make a lot of money through these foreign investments in Central and South America, then I will generate more money for the United States and decrease our national debt. I don't think it's going to happen, by the way, but that's the idea behind it. But I don't really see that as going to happen. A lot of American people, assuming you're not American watching this, see the thing in Venezuela as like another intervention in a foreign country where we don't need to be. And so that's why we kidnapped Nicolas Maduro, so that way we could get those investments back in there, because he was pretty hardline in making sure that didn't happen. And after us doing that, all of a sudden the current president in Venezuela, who's this lady called she's a lady, I don't remember her fucking name, right? But she's like, sure, investment can come back in. And so basically a lot of that has been like the oil companies going, I don't know, kind of risky investment. And the only people who have been successful is the one oil company that said, we will maintain a share in the national oil company of Venezuela. So they made out gangbusters because they were already there the entire time. And they played like a fucking 40-year long game. But yeah, that's like the gist of all of that and why we'd be involved in Venezuela. At the time of this video, the sanctions would have gone up against Venezuela, and Venezuelans would have been having a ridiculous bank run and basically losing all of their money. So the Venezuelan dollar would have like tanked completely.
US has been talking about for quite a long time. And they have the largest oil reserves in the world. And that doesn't seem to be at the forefront of the conversation when we have actual neocons, neoconservative maniacs, actual genocidal maniacs, like people that were accused of genocide, demonstrably. Elliot Abrams, Guatemala, look what happened there.
This
John
is funny.
Bolton and his
aged very
crazy
funnily.
aspirations, and Pompeo, and these generals that are just nuts, that all they care about is maintaining this beast, this military-industrial complex. And they're out in the open saying, hey, isn't this great?
So for a long time, from what I have read, and again, I'm not like a giga expert in this, from what I have read, the foreign policy stature of the United States with Venezuela has been trying to basically smoke Maduro out and get him to open up to investment again, right? For the oil and other trade offerings, right? Basically saying, look, you could be a really good trade partner with us. Stop being fucking stupid. Open up democratic elections. Do these things for us, and we will make your country rich, is basically what the Americans were saying. And they kept pushing those sanctions on but there wasn't any like pressure to actually do something about it, because we were dealing with Afghanistan at the time. And when Trump gets into office, people have been talking about, why hasn't he lowered the cost of living? Why hasn't he fixed the economy? Why hasn't he done this? It's actually a lot harder. I don't know how true this is. This is an anecdote I've heard, so take it with a humongous grain of salt. It's actually a lot harder to fix domestic problems than foreign policy problems. Because when you run like the largest military on planet Earth, you can swing that dick around in tons of fucking countries. But you can't swing that dick around on American soil because of the laws that exist. I am aware of current thing and current year and what is happening. But generally speaking, you know, you can't fucking have United States military goose stepping down Main Street, okay? To be clear about the oil, by the way, it's the kind of oil that you don't really want to have because it requires some extra steps to bring it to gas, but it's good for asphalt. Yes, so the oil in Venezuela is different, right? Than oil in, say, like the OPEC countries, which I think Venezuela is part of OPEC. They might not be. They might be part of OPEC plus. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, look. However bad you think it is, it could be a billion times worse. I'm not saying that what's happening is good, but it could be worse.
That Venezuela's got this oil, and oh, Maduro's this bad guy, and we just tried to coup them during the last Bush administration. In 2002, look up the documentary, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. We tried to do a coup there just 16, 17 years ago. And here we are again. And the craziest thing from my perspective is that here you have this movement of resistance, which is in a lot of ways coming from a very good place. It's been hard for everyone to wake up to the fact that this is all a reality show, politics and whatnot. But I guess it took the election of an actual reality show TV star to truly wake people up to that fact. And that has been, in many ways,
What is this guy, the woke racist? What the fuck? What
a
happened?
conduit for everything that's come since, and this destabilization,
Dude, they actually don't make schizophrenics like they used to anymore. What the fuck?
disorientation of us being thrust into the conspiracium without without the proper context and without the right guidance. And this plays right into the hand of the people.
Yeah, he's the wokler.
Pulling this nonsense. So you have all sorts of propaganda coming out in the mainstream media about what's happening down there. You got CNN actually saying that this CIA-picked puppet named Guaido or whatever was elected by the people in January, and then they had to retract it a few days later. And NPR, I mean, not to single out these every mainstream media outlet is equally culpable in this respect. It's spreading fake news and government mandated propaganda. But NPR and CNN and them all, they're all having.
I really hope
all these stories about
that we get to the
suffering of the people,
documentaries he made. Yeah.
It's just the same nonsense that they do over and over again. And it's shocking to me that there can be so much outrage and resistance over Trump and everything that he's doing right now. And yet it could be directed at this. It could be directed at what's he's done by throwing Chelsea Manning back in jail for refusing to testify against Assange. And then the extradition request against Assange and what's happened there. This is a very, very serious sequence of events. And it's not just the events itself, it's the response to them or lack thereof.
It's so interesting how many of those things don't matter anymore. Do you guys remember when they were trying to extradite Julian Assange and they had him like cooped up in an embassy? You guys remember that? You guys remember Chelsea Manning? Like they were like a trans Air Force person or something, and it was this whole big thing about getting this wokey to like testify against Julian Assange and blah blah blah.
I find the most concerning. And the reporting of the
Yeah,
Assange
genuinely,
is equally as atrocious as with Venezuela and all of these narratives that they're seemingly needing to maintain for these ridiculous plans of the elites. Here you have actual news outlets, Fox News and CNN, saying that, oh, WikiLeaks hacked this and Assange hacked this and Manning hacked this, and none of them have had it even remotely right. And it's just stunning to me. It's shocking to me how misinformed people are now about all of this. Bradley Manning, who was Bradley Manning at the time, was given clearance to this information by the government. So the government, he didn't hack anything.
I kind of want to watch his documentaries because KJ mentioned those, and it's hard to. Yeah. Is it this one? God damn, this is gonna take a while. I need to turn down my heat. I'm like mad sweaty. There we go. By now, he's like lost his mind in this documentary. So there's one called Crater Earth, which sounds like more of what I'm interested
Sirius rises late in the dark liquid sky. On summer nights, star of stars. Orion's dog, they call it. Brightest of all, but an evil portent, bringing heat and fevers to suffering humanity. In Homer's epic poem, the Iliad, the ill-fated Achilles is likened to the star Sirius, named after the ancient Greek word for scorching. Since ancient times, the red-hued star has been associated with dogs. Sirius was the canine companion of the great hunter Orion. Sirius is not only the brightest...
I would do the Crater Earth one first. Okay, well, you know, sure. I need something really fucking crazy.
And now for something completely different.
What? That this Earth does not revolve and is not round or roundish at all, but is continuous with the rest of its system. So that if one could break away from its traditions of geographers, one might walk and come to Mars, and then find Mars continues with Jupiter. I suppose someday such queries will sound absurd. The thing will be so obvious.
In the information age, those gifted in the art of pattern recognition have
He
formidable
sounds like Mouthy Buddha.
resources at their disposal, if they choose to take the plunge. The pattern spotter can sift through vast swaths of data and notice trends that most will miss. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you should give the pattern spotter the benefit of the doubt, but...
Dude, guys, he's recognizing
you
patterns.
should probably at least listen to them more often than not. Charles Fort was one of the pioneers of schizo-level pattern recognition. Over a century ago, Fort began scouring newspapers, scientific articles, and other accounts for anomalous or otherworldly phenomena. With a witty skepticism, Fort documented thousands of events, from animals falling from the sky in huge numbers to out-of-place artifacts or OO parts.
Fortean phenomenon. Examples of odd phenomena in Fort's books include many occurrences of the sort of various refer to as occult, supernatural, and paranormal. Reported events include teleportation, a term Fort is generally credited with inventing, falls of frogs, fishes, and inorganic materials, spontaneous human combustion, ball lightning, a term explicitly used by Fort, poltergeist events, uncountable noises and explosions, levitation, unidentified flying objects, unexplained disappearances. He also offered many reports of out-of-the-place artifacts, strange items found in unlikely locations. He was also perhaps the first person to explain strange human appearances and disappearances by the hypothesis of alien abduction. Dude, the first schizo.
That call into question the current accepted timeline of history. Fort was also one of the first to explore the idea of alien abduction, and he was among the first to describe certain phenomena like ball lightning and spontaneous human combustion. Fort claimed that he only actually published a very small fraction of the sheer number of anomalous events that he had collected and cataloged over the years.
So we have like answers for ball lightning and fucking spontaneous human combustion now. Or like we've captured ball lightning on video and we have like strong evidence for what it actually is.
He insinuated that due to the similar degree and sheer quantity of these strange events across time and space, that humanity...
Same thing for like the frogs and fish falling out of the sky. Like, I do believe we have pretty good and cohesive theories on why that happened,
was likely
too.
owned in the sense that the true nature of our reality was somehow obscured. Owned by who? We are left to ponder and wonder. Fort suggested that
The Jews.
Super Sargasso Sea might exist beyond our own realm.
A Super Sargasso Sea exists into which all things lost go, and justified his theories by noting that they fit the data as well as the conventional explanations. As for whether Fort believed this theory or any other source of proposals, he himself noted, I believe nothing of my own that I have ever written. Crazy.
that could explain many of the
Isn't ball lightning a type of lightning? Yeah, like one of the theories I've heard is like ball lightning is like when the lightning hits like a type of soil on the ground, it like springs up from the ground, floats for a little bit, and then dissipates.
bizarre phenomena he spent a lifetime studying. Now, at the dawn
What's the reason behind human combustion then? I do believe it was like, depending on the type of material that you're wearing on your clothes, it's more likely to have like a static cling. And so you could actually develop a charge to the point where you like burst into flames.
of the 21st
Yeah, and the alcoholism, it's like bursting into flame via that and like your static charge.
century, we've been waking up in record numbers, and finally we're more equipped to understand that we've been lied to about pretty much everything since, well, the beginning. For example, where did the moon come from? The giant impact hypothesis is currently the accepted model, but to say this is sufficient is laughable at best. The Wikipedia page for the moon's origin seems to change fairly frequently, and it currently admits there is no
What did you the fucking how things develop and science change over time? What?
consistent model that starts with a giant impact event and follows the evolution of the debris into a single moon. The entire scenario defies the imagination if you really think about it. Many experts have expressed their incredulity. Is our understanding of something as fundamental as the theory of gravity woefully inadequate or completely erroneous? The American inventor Thomas Townsend Brown believed gravity was a push, not a pull, a conclusion similar to NASA astronomer Tom Van Flandern. Brown believed there was a fundamental connection between electricity and gravity, and this relationship could be engineered on a local level. This was a time of heightened interest in these forms of exotic propulsion, and many researchers have suggested that the obfuscation and various theories surrounding the early NASA programs weren't so much about them being entirely faked from the ground up as they were hiding classified technology. What if the moon landing wasn't fake completely, but they hid how they actually got there? What if there isn't where we think it is at all?
Honestly, it's kind of a bespoke take to say, look, the moon landing isn't fake, but gravity actually works backwards, so they had to lie about it, but they did go there. It wasn't really like what you thought it was, but they did go somewhere.
One theory is that the moon was placed there on purpose by us to make our planet more habitable. Humans from the future. A theory
Humans from the future placed the moon in our orbit, but okay, wait a second. This posits a very interesting question, right? Because how would the humans first develop the technology to place the moon in the sky if the moon wasn't there? The moon could only exist if humanity progressed to the point where humanity could develop the power to make the moon. So, like, it's like a chicken and the egg thing, One can't come before the other without the other coming after the other.
that's starting to make its way into popular culture. And what about
Yeah, but Moonfall is a fucking terrible movie.
flat Earth? Universally mocked as a meme by normies, this concept is hotly
Yeah, by normies.
contentious, even among conspiracy circles, often considered to be a red herring meant to
Dude, Alex Jones be like, listen, I will pay you billions of dollars to go to outer space, so that way you can know that the Earth is not flat.
poison the well. But the pattern spotter will start to notice something. When concealing
It's time travel, Diesel. Don't think too hard about it. You'll sprain your brain. Yeah, but fucking time travel requires, like, an immense amount. Like, we need to think about it if it actually happened, right?
a profound truth, two cover stories are often propagated, one for normies and one for conspiracy theorists. There may be variations in each category, and both narratives often contain kernels of truth, but the Hegelian dialectic is clearly at play. This is part of humanity's awakening process, as the thesis and the antithesis, the normies and the conspiracy theorists combine their narratives to create the synthesis.
Dude, fucking Looper's gonna come and kill the foundering, dude.
If the globe Earth is the thesis
I googled it. It's believed to be an intersection of ketosis, alcoholism, and the advent of synthetic fabrics. Oh, so that's why you blew up back in the day.
and flat Earth is the antithesis, what's the synthesis? Here's an earlier permutation of this divide and conquer strategy. For normies, the Roswell incident was a weather balloon or top secret satellite
Roswell and the Reich.
program, depending
Dude, there used to be a time in like schizo communities where like the Nazis were secretly conspiring with the deep state. But these days, now every single schizo is like, I love the deep state, kiss the ring. Yeah, these woke Jews are just trying to really get to us here. Like 90s conspiracy theorists used to actually have that shit on. All right, because it turns out the deep state is actually made up of Nazis.
on the debunking du jour. For many conspiracy theorists, it was an alien craft with retrieved extraterrestrial bodies. The real story is probably somewhere in the middle. Post-World War II German anti-gravity tech crashed onto American soil, resulting in a justifiable national emergency. Two narratives were hatched as some officials insinuated an otherworldly explanation, and others maintained the mundane. A good deal of wide-eyed speculation.
A lot of this stuff is really fun to like think about in like a fiction sense. Like I'm really okay. Like obviously there's when you guys hold my book in your hands, when it is done, which is going to happen this year, I guarantee it. When you'll know that I'm like really passionate about a lot of different things. I didn't touch on like my love of conspiracy theories, but I really do find this stuff absolutely mind-bogglingly fascinating. Not because I'm like schizophrenic and crazy, but because it presents itself as like a really fun like alt history thing. This guy should run a Delta Green. Yeah, that's why I love Delta Green.
Surrounds Operation High Jump. What was happening in Antarctica? What was the Cold War?
Like the concept of like fucking like a Nazi enclave developing anti-grav technology and trying to attack the United States in the 1960s is like so ripe for so much. Like it's an X-Files episode, dude.
Really about? Why did America rush to the moon in essentially a tin can, and yet today we have a hard time getting off the ground? The moon is the biggest anomaly of them all because it's staring directly at us, declaring it's
just expensive. That's why we haven't gone back.
Utterly improbable inconsistencies for anyone choosing to face them with an open mind. Why does it fit so perfectly in an eclipse? Normies often dismiss this as a happy coincidence, but the pattern spotter has learned to disregard coincidence.
The pattern spotter, the noticer, has
as a rule. Asimov is quoted as saying, "There's no astronaut."
I like conspiracy stuff like this. It gets boring when everything's like, it's actually the Jews. The Jews are putting butt worms in you to have gay sex. It's like, maybe you just like men. Like I watched the Chainsaw Man movie recently, and there's like a moment where like Denji is thinking about like one of the twink, where he's thinking about the guy. And he's like, no, I can't be into him. That's a guy. But it's like, you clearly are fantasizing about the guy in his underwear. So, like, maybe you're a little more quirked up than you thought, Denji.
Reason why the moon and the sun should fit so well. It is the sheerest of coincidences. If the pattern spotter has learned to shun coincidence, he abhors the sheerest of coincidence as a matter of duty. Asimov continues, we cannot help but come to the conclusion that the moon ought not to be there. The fact that it is one of those strokes of luck almost too good to accept. Then why, dear Isaac, should we accept it? If there currently isn't a good explanation for the moon's origin, and many great minds are baffled at its even existence, the pattern spotter must at least consider the
Dude, what if the moon is actually the Death Star?
Possibility that it might not exist at all, at least in its currently accepted form. Since scientists today have fallen victim to the often inescapable allure of consensus reality, and since the existence of a solid moon was allegedly confirmed in 1969, it's unlikely anyone in authority will ask the obvious. However, there wasn't always this consensus.
What is your theory? Well, it is...
Don't spoil it. Me saying there's a twink. That was not even like a moment in that movie that like matters.
By now, rather more than this theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is a plasma phenomena, cosmic plasma, and that this...
Yeah, and you know what? I think that guy's wrong. I don't care if he's got a degree, he's wrong.
Fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
Is the moon some sort of plasma? Is it a projection on plasma? What are the so-called lunar waves being spotted by amateur astronomers? Why is it difficult to find discussion or even footage of these clear anomalies? Charles Ford would have a field day with lunar waves. Watch.
What the hell? I just saw a wave.
A lot of this looks like interpolation on a camera. You know, where it's like the interlacing is like leaving a line. Like as the lens is like processing the information, you see the line. Also, are you looking at the... Yeah, that's one, interlacing. Two, there's a great deal of distance between yourself and the moon. How do you know that's not something in the atmosphere between you and the moon and outer space that's causing that? Like, there's a lot of things that could be aside from the moon producing plasmatic energy. Like that, all of this does look like the atmosphere in between you and the moon. The guy who makes the N-word on the moon song doesn't think the moon is real is crazy. How much moon footage is he gonna show us, guys? God damn.
Beyond. Good luck finding a similar compilation of lunar waves anywhere else online. For the ones who notice, this is an incredible time to be alive. The amount of predictive programming and soft disclosure in entertainment, advertising, and beyond has become deafening. 9/11 was a litmus test for many. While the normies were content with jet fuel and the conspiracy theorists were babbling about thermite, the most obvious question of them all was conveniently and completely overlooked. Where did the towers go? Like so many stage events, the narratives were...
What? Where did the towers go? I got something to tell you. They blew up, and then we picked up all the garbage and debris and dead people, and we put it in a landfill or in the ground.
Put into play immediately.
Holy shit, this is the Mormon slur guy? Yes, the Mormon slur guy made video essays.
While Harley Guy somehow knew the details of the tower's destruction live on scene, disinfo agents like Stephen Jones were tasked with promoting alternative theories like nanothermite. Jones was previously involved in the effort to discredit the cold fusion research of Pons and Fleischmann, details of which can be found in the documentary Heavy Watergate. The pattern spotter can see there's something more to the destruction on 9/11, and thermite and even mini nukes are insufficient to explain the footage. What caused hundreds of cars to be literally toasted, often in inconsistent patterns? Why do leaves and
Fire.
paper seem to be largely unaffected by the extreme heat required to cause this damage? Is there a connection
Are we really doing this?
between this effect and some of the anomalous fires in California
Oh, really? What? So it was a laser? We lasered the buildings away? Is that it?
and elsewhere? What happened with Hurricane Aaron on 9/11?
Trees unharmed. There's like no point in even like engaging with this on an intellectual level, right?
What is the Hutchison effect? What's the explanation for the otherworldly events during some hurricanes? Was exotic tech used on 9/11? These are questions which shall have to be explored another time. If they're lying to us about the moon and gravity and 9/11 and even viruses, why do you believe them when they tell you you're on a little ball hurtling through space? The burden of proof is on them, and their track record is already beyond abysmal. Why are so many images from space straight CGI? Why is there no picture of Antarctica in its entirety? Why did Admiral Richard Byrd say, "I'd like to see that land beyond the pole"? That area beyond the pole is the center of the great unknown. Why did Byrd warn about invasion by hostile planes coming from the polar regions? What actually happened
Maybe he was fucking crazy, brother.
during Operation High Jump? This footage of Admiral Byrd speaks for itself.
He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any...
Also, this guy probably feels so validated with the fucking government saying they have directed energy weapons that can control time. Did the internet say they could... Did the government say they control time? Wait, what?
unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And it's, I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Some claim Byrd entered into opening into Agartha, or the inner earth.
Agartha? Oh, no! I know Agartha is like in public meme discourse now, but this is really fucking funny. Oh my god.
The idea that Earth is a hollow sphere has been explored many times before, as well as our hollow moon, which allegedly rang like a bell when struck. But the Admiral's words may offend the debunker. He says that there is a great unexplored land beyond the poles. The sheer enormity of the secret, if true, cannot be overstated. If there are realms beyond the poles, it is the single greatest cover-up in the history of mankind. It is a pernicious secret, one that cuts to the very hearts of our psyche. Are we cut off by the vacuum of space, isolated in an unimaginable, immense, unforgiving universe? Or are we connected by a vast plane to other worlds, where such notions of exploration are no longer relevant?
That projection of the planet is actually the craziest one I've seen. What in God's green earth is that?
To the realm of imagination.
It's that meme shit. Well, you guys got to realize how many memes just come from like esoteric internet shit or like fucking racist shit. Like when I make the joke like which way Western man? Which way Western man is from like a fucking like neo-Nazi like thing. And I had no idea.
The repercussions of such a revelation would be
the planet is the dinosaur footprint.
Paradigm shifting, to say the very least. We are kept.
Dude, no fucking way. Dude, I was chilling. So I was chilling with Hal one day, and she sent me this picture of Earth, right? And she was like, we were talking about like unlocking new lands. I can't believe I'm seeing this image right now. So we're surrounded by a wall of ice in the middle, right? And then if you leave the wall of ice, you can reach the lands of Athens, Germania, fucking like Atlantis, Atham, and it is Nemo and Osiris even further out. You have to get around the mountain ring, of course, okay? Lemuria is out there, guys.
Under control under the false meaning of scarcity. In a bigger world, this control mechanism is dealt a fatal blow. Are we in a closed system, or is it an open one? A century ago, while Fort was collecting his anomalies and speculating about...
Wouldn't it be so cool if we had a world like that and we could touch Asgard? That would be great, but like it's not.
Walking to the planets and oceans beyond our own, a young Italian man named F. Amadeo Giannini was struck with a profound vision. In a moment of divine clarity, Giannini experienced a glimpse of what he believed to be the true nature of the universe. By the late 20s,
I think this comes from people's want to do manifest destiny. They desperately want frontier core life. Maybe. I don't even know if it's that. I think a lot of it is like actual schizophrenia. I think a lot of these folks like genuinely do feel like the world has all of these things. And I think a lot of these like conspiracies are like self-perpetuating because like a mentally ill crazy person goes online and it like perpetuates that way.
Giannini had further fleshed out his theory and had attracted some attention with his provocative declaration, even among some academic circles. By the 1950s, the expeditions of Admiral Byrd and others seemed to confirm aspects of his hypothesis, and in 1959 he published Worlds Beyond the Poles. Although freely available online, I was actually able to get my hands on an original printing, which now has a new home in my library of Esoterica. Although his prose could be meandering and redundant, the theory
Everybody who has a library of Esoterica is nuts as hell.
itself is breathtaking in its audacity and yet simplicity. According to Giannini, there is no end to the Earth at either pole, and instead the land extends out for an indeterminate distance. In addition, there are no isolated globular bodies located in space. The isolated appearance of stars and planets are due to an optical illusion. In fact, we are looking at other worlds similar to our own, connected and not separated by outer space. This optical illusion results from the function of the human eye lens and all photographic and telescopic lenses, which are patterned after the optic lens. The globular bodies found throughout the entire universe are elements of lens deception. These globular bodies are an illusion. Giannini concludes, beyond the barrier will be found a warmer climate with land and waterways.
I think this almost is like you're going to go beyond the land and you're going to find a secret world and it's going to have elves. Like this is fantasy. Like this is actual pure fantasy.
It is there that celestial cousins await terrestrial man's arrival, and if one asks how far beyond, it will suffice to record that the distance is negligible with modern transportation speed. To the angels, the Nephilim, the Anunnaki, come down.
The Nephilim, the Anunnaki? Okay. All right. We got the lizards, we got the giants, we got the stone people, we got the angels from fucking heaven. They're all here. Everybody's here.
to Earth and alter man's history via breeding with the local hominids? How is this even physically possible if they came from an entirely different environment trillions of miles away? Or were they able to reproduce with us because we actually come from the same biological system? Giannini maintained that high-altitude photographs of our Earth confirmed this theory by producing similar globular effect when looking down at our land. This radically different cosmological model seems to have been mostly forgotten by the 1960s, along with the publicly acknowledged anti-gravity research programs. The world was placated with the moon landing in '69, had mostly moved on to fight the shiny distraction of the culture war, and the rest was history. But not for the pattern spotter. Worlds Beyond the Poles serves as an important marker, along with the works of
Yeah, honestly, the internet resulted in the Omni conspiracy, the theory of everything conspiracy. Yeah, it's like the internet like coalesced all of these ideas into one thing, you know? So that's the world and that's the sun, so Sol's in there. You have Set. So Set is a normal moon that we see, and the reason that the moon goes away is because there's a dark moon, guys. A dark moon by the name of Anubis that ends up covering
Charles Fort that something was amiss with the official narrative, and it would only be a matter of time before critical mass is reached and the public starts to ask certain uncomfortable questions in earnest and in unison. Why the explosion of interest in flat Earth theories when so many people should apparently know better? Why the demonization of any thought?
why the explosion in flat Earth theory when people should know better? God, there's so many like socioeconomic reasons for that. We've known that the Earth is round for a really long time. You know what? I should look into that. The origins of flat Earth would be very interesting.
Or suggestion that isn't sanctioned by Wikipedia and the narrative clutchers. Why do the UN and other organizations insist on using what can only be described as questionably flat Earth suggestive symbolism? Why is there so little attention on the possibility that we may be on a bigger Earth instead? Why do so many ancient cultures have similar models of our realm? With this introduction, it's time to engage in a thought experiment. Suppose our world is surrounded by some form of plasma. If a light source was shining on us, you would expect to see a reflection in this plasma. Is the moon a reflection of us?
Dude, I think if I showed this to an astronomer, it might kill them. I think who's that guy, that annoying guy, the black guy that's a scientist, but he can be kind of like a Reddit type guy. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Do you think this would kill Neil deGrasse Tyson if I showed it to him?
Is that why it seems like it shouldn't be there at all? If it's a reflection, can we discern any recognizable patterns on its surface? Or is it difficult to see our world's features because it's far bigger than we thought? Are we a tiny pond on a bigger object? Is each crater a unique biome connected by harsh and often impenetrable lands? Is this our true moon? Instead of flying to the moon, did we leave our crater and land outside? If we're in a crater on a bigger Earth, which part of the moon are we being reflected on? If the moon is a reflection of us on some form of plasma, what are the planets?
The Great Ice Ball? Dude, the concept that there's like a humongous floating ice ball and there's like a humongous world inside the ice ball is crazy.
The stars. The galaxies.
This is just brain rot. Well, yeah, now it's brain rot, but this used to be a real conspiracy theory before the Yakub AI, Charlie Kirk, Epstein, Diddy Blood calculator memes turned it into like a meme.
Are they other lands? Or are they reflections of other lands? A researcher by the name of Wim, who runs the channel God Give Lamste, has done considerable research into the bigger Earth theory.
This guy on YouTube with no credentials has done some research, guys.
According to Wim, the sun is creating a reflection of ourselves as the moon on plasma. In one model,
I think this only comes from us teaching people what a hypothesis is, not what the purpose of one is. Yeah. Or not like fully communicating what a theory is versus like a law, and like that theories don't mean that they're like up for any single fucking idiot to debate.
Black sun is the source of this energy, and the white sun we see is
Whoa! No! I know what that is. Don't you dare try to get past this without mentioning that, all right, buddy? I'm a bit of a noticer myself, and I know what that black sun means. You don't get to talk about the black sun. All right, I know what the black sun means. Interesting how you're an esoteric fascist.
reflection of the black light on the plasma. Similarly, this reflection
Oh god, the black sun. The black sun is reflecting, guys.
effect creates layers of planets, stars, and galaxies. It is quite literally as above, so below. Did the ancient world know far more than we give them credit? If the moon is our realm zoomed out, could the stars be our realm zoomed in and superimposed as layers of the reflection? Were the ancients giving us more than a clear message? Were they spelling it out for us? By recreating the stars on the terrestrial, were they imparting to us a profound truth through the mists of time? Are there similar patterns in the stars as craters and features on the moon? Wim has found a few already, but if there are more, they are waiting to be discovered by an army of weaponized autists.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting for it. Me and Ash needed a neck brace after how quick he tried to slip that in.
Should they ever be put to the task?
By the way, this is what they talk about with an alt-right pipeline, right? Like, that's how you fall down. You know, it's like a little bit. It's very slowly and then all at once, all right? Notice how this guy was feeling a little disenfranchised by YouTube, and very slowly over a long period of time, he gets, like, wrapped up in this, like, esoteric fascist belief, okay? Which, by the way, a lot of neo-Nazis and regular Nazis are very esoteric. Like, they do believe in, like, insane magic. Do I even want to know? The black sun is like it's just like a Nazi symbol. It's like a Nazi fash symbol. There's, like, more specifics with it, but I'm not going to get into it right now because I wouldn't want to get it wrong. But I know what it is. That is what it is. There was one time I'm going to save that for later. I'm not going to say.
Is space fake and gay?
Is space fake and gay? Yeah, let's reduce it to that.
Giannini believed there exists a true deep space at the center of it all, from which our realm originated. But there is certainly no outer space filled with globular bodies. Are the stars reflections of different craters and other features of our bigger realm? If so, should we not be reflected as the brightest star in the sky? That honor belongs to Sirius, the dog star. The pattern seekers should recall this serious mystery and how the Dogon tribe in Africa claims to have been visited in the distant past by beings who taught them knowledge of the Sirius star system, including the existence of Sirius B, which shouldn't have been known to the primitive tribe. While Robert Temple and others believe this is evidence that these visitors hailed from Sirius, could it be that these creatures were telling the tribe where we are currently located on the star map of our bigger realm? As they pointed to Sirius, they weren't saying, we come from there, they were saying, you are here.
Yeah, he's doing mental masturbation. He's JQing. Off is the term, yeah.
Wim's research has led him to conclude that our small...
Yeah, the way that you get people into these, like, spheres of belief is by slowly sprinkling in questions that maybe it makes you become a noticer too. And that's why I keep making fun of the noticer thing, because, like, the more you notice, the more likely you are to see the patterns. You see patterns, you're going to start noticing strange trends. You know?
Earth is indeed reflected as Sirius.
And then that's how you go, I guess the Jews really do run the world.
What about the moon? Where is our small Earth located? Wim used our 12-hour day and night to narrow down the location.
That is the axis on which the craters are moving from dark to light. Only on this axis you have craters with the day and night of 12 hours.
Eventually, Wim was drawn to the Sulpicius Gallus crater system. Gaius Sulpicius Gallus was a Roman general who also was interested in astronomy, predicting a lunar eclipse in the year 168 BC. In addition to his formidable proboscis, Gallus's legacy also includes being named after several craters on the moon. Our focus will be on the crater known as Sulpicius Gallus M. Does this rather unassuming feature contain a profound secret within? Is this Sirius? Is this us? Is that Sirius being next to us? Note the prominent V-shaped feature. Does this shape look familiar? Have you seen it before? Have they been giving us a clue about our true world with their imagery?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Even the Egyptian symbol for Sirius is somewhat reminiscent of Sulpicius Gallus M. Have they known all along? Is this one of the biggest...
Winston Churchill giving the peace sign? Are we serious? Are we serious? Really?
...secrets of all time? Did the Nazis hide out in Antarctica after World War II? Or did they leave our crater and go beyond? Why did Admiral Byrd warn of aircraft coming from the poles? Was he insinuating they would originate from...
It's a discus, my brother, and a Millennium Falcon. Oh my god.
...colonized lands beyond the poles? How long have we been colonizing these regions? Much has been speculated about a so-called breakaway civilization that currently exists adjacent to our own, with its own...
Yeah, did you catch him slipping in that Jew joke about the guy?
...autonomous financial and ideological system of governance. It's been suggested that this civilization physically resides somewhere in space, but is it more feasible for them to be right next door? What was World War II really about? And why were the Nazis obsessed with the occult and mythical lands like Hyperborea?
Because they were fucking stupid. Because they were wrong. Wah. Fucking democracy won, bitch. Fuck off. All right, all you fat LARPers running down the street thinking you're neo-Nazis. The real tragedy is that you guys are all the hyper gay is what you are. Fuck you.
Wim's comparison between images of Sirius and Sulpicius Gallus M are more compelling than you might think, particularly the small notches on either side. We also found that it could very well fit the location on the sky map where Sirius is located.
Why were the Nazis very fascinated by the occult and magical? By the way, I just want to say that the Nazis didn't develop nuclear fission because they thought it was fucking Jewish magic, okay? Right? One of the main reasons Nazis never developed the nuclear program is because they thought it was Jewish fucking magic.
The Seagull Nebula is also a pretty good fit. Using Sulpicius Gallus M and Sirius as a home base, WIM has offered possibilities for the identities of nearby star systems like Betelgeuse, the Crab Nebula, the Pleiades, and Procyon. Note the prominent crater in this Apollo 11 image. In this map, you can see various landing sites on the moon. Note that the original Apollo flights are centered around Sulpicius Gallus M, which would make sense.
So,
the first forays outside didn't
the
venture too
moon
far
is
from home.
actually a projection of the endless Earth, and that our realm is actually bigger.
The pattern spotter finds these maps.
Don't fascists love a lack of education? I wouldn't be surprised if the esoteric thing could also be a result of poor education. It is a result of poor education.
Particularly intriguing. It would certainly explain the extreme amounts of obfuscation surrounding the missions to the moon. It would explain why the astronauts never dealt with the dangerous radiation they would certainly face on their alleged journey. It would explain why trajectories of rockets show them heading out, not up, and why they still claim they went to the moon. If we accept that the moon is actually a reflection of a bigger Earth, landing outside our crater would indeed be, at least semantically, landing on the moon. If the planets are reflections of nearby craters, which crater corresponds with which planet in our solar system? According to WIM, the crater Joy is Jupiter in the night sky. A feature in the crater could produce the so-called spot. It just so happens that
Does this mean Omegaverse is real? Yeah, sure.
another name for Jupiter is Jove, from which we get the word jovial, which literally means being filled with joy. In this model, the crater Banting is Neptune with its moons nearby. Linnae A would be Uranus, surrounded by its 6 largest moons. WIM believes he also may have located Pluto and even the Kuiper belt. Archimedes L would be Venus, Archimedes N would be Mercury, and Mars would be Hadley's C, located next to the asteroid belt, which may be a nearby prominent mountain range. The distance between crater Earth and crater Mars would be about 1 million kilometers, a daunting length, no doubt, but certainly not quite as daunting as the 220.
Guys, we could go from the Earth crater to the Mars crater by walking 1 million kilometers.
5 million kilometers allegedly between Earth and Mars in space. WIM, clearly a next-level noticer, spotted a similarity between Mars and a certain feature in England called Silbury Hill, the tallest prehistoric man-made mound in Europe. As above, so below. No.
Wait, so his theory is now that the solar system is actually just craters on the moon? No, his theory, okay. The theory is as follows. The theory is that the Earth is flat and we actually exist in a crater in a much larger structure. This large structure is actually our own perceivable landscape that we live on, and that the Earth is actually much bigger. And the reason that we see the moon in the sky is because of a plasma projection, right? And so theoretically, the entire solar system is walkable and contains various other landscapes that we could go to if we walk out of the crater and walk to it, right? And that the moon is just a projection of the world that we actually live on, and that it's actually humongous.
No doubt. But did the ancients know? If Silbury Hill is Mars, is nearby Stonehenge Earth? Sirius? Sulpicius Gallus M? Is that?
It's actually more ridiculous than the idea that you suggested.
Orion and Taurus and the Pleiades nearby? And what about Saturn? Which crater is that? Linnae seems to fit. And curiously enough, Linnae has generated controversy before for allegedly changing its appearance. This ought to rub the pattern spotter the wrong way. Linnae also boasts a curious triple-ringed feature. Didn't Atlantis famously consist of 3 rings before it was flooded?
Didn't Atlantis consist of 3 rings before it was flooded is quite the statement. So we just have to assume that we all agree that Atlantis is real to have this discussion.
The outer layer of Linnae could project a ring in space like those observed around Saturn. Many of
Brother, our cities aren't walkable. Why would the universe be? Well, here's the thing. 1 million kilometers is not walkable for me, but theoretically it is.
On the Saturnalian cult that has wielded power and influence through the ages, Did they originate from Atlantis? Is Saturn Atlantis, aka Crater Linnae? Did Crater Linnae get flooded? Did the survivors have to cross vast distances on the bigger Earth in search of a new home? Did they settle?
This presents such an outrageous, like, style of existence. I just
on a small, unassuming crater?
It does, like, engage my imagination, but in the same respect, it's, like, so fucking crazy.
Called Sulpicius Gallus M that happened to be on higher ground and above the worst of the flood, which was presumably sweeping the greater realm. What do the ancients tell us about giants and heroes and floods and distant lands and gods that came and instructed us with?
You know what's crazy? So I'm not running my Delta Green campaign right now, but so my Delta Green campaign started at around the same time that the Luigi Mangione alleged assassination took place. And so I made the storyline that it was actually that Luigi was a patsy and that they had the CEO killed because he discovered some, like, fucking secret brainworm magic. And so the agents had to go in and clean it up and basically make it look like Luigi committed the crime. And then after that, they discover this whole, like, Epstein conspiracy. This really happened. I really did this in my game. And so with the help of a vampire, they get involved and get into one of the trafficking meets, where, like, monsters like fucking vampires meet up with the ruling elite, and they traffic children, and some of them eat children. And the way that it was, like, pawned off, they were able to take Elon Musk back to a very powerful elder vampire. I put Vampire the Masquerade characters in my Delta Green game. And I let them take Elon Musk to a wealthy elder vampire, and she put Elon Musk inside a flesh wall to torture him for all eternity for his role in torturing people. And anyway, the point of the matter is that I think it's actually absolutely insane that it's come around full circle, that all of these people were indeed being that awful.
There are more advanced ways. Is our crater periodically inundated with a flood from the bigger Earth? Is this the Super Sargasso Sea as postulated by Fort? Are the bizarre falls of animals like fish and frogs due to their arrival from beyond our immediate realm?
So beyond our immediate realm are animals that are geographically located somewhere within our Earth.
Explain why.
But it's from a larger Earth. Listen, if the Earth is actually humongous and there's all these special lands like Osiris and Atlantis, I'm gonna be really annoyed if there's just more trout over there, okay? If I go to Atlantis, I better be seeing some fucking fish people.
Some animals seem to appear in history without any evolutionary developmental antecedent. Did the survivors of the floods of yore seek refuge on high ground, or perhaps outside our crater on Antarctica? Noah's Ark supposedly landed in the mountains of Ararat, but it wasn't until the Middle Ages that a current area in Turkey was thought to be this location. Was it originally somewhere else? Plato noted that Atlantis existed beyond the Pillars of Hercules. This is generally believed to be located at the Strait of Gibraltar, connecting the Mediterranean to the Atlantic. But, like Ararat, were the Pillars originally referencing a different location, perhaps outside our crater? Sailors used to be warned non plus ultra, nothing further beyond. Were the tales of monsters and falling off the edge of the earth planted to keep mankind ignorant of the true unlimited nature of his world? A confined man is a controlled man on prison Earth. Certain fictional stories have profound psychological and mimetic impact on society because they give us hints about cosmic truths, and these resonate even with the uninitiated. Why are stories of ancient worldwide floods so consistent across so many different cultures?
Because it's like a whatever. There's no fucking point. What? It's so frustrating because this is like absolutely fucking bananas. I can't believe this guy would just be like the N-word on the moon guy. Well, at least I've never heard this conspiracy before, by the way. This is a new one for me. I'm not gonna lie. I need to go to bed early, though, so I'm gonna fucking God. There's no way. There's no way that you were fucking raiding me right as I was about to end stream, you fucker. I guess we're going. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going then. Let me lock back in. All right. Oh no, hi Diesel. So let me back up a second for all the noticers that just showed up in chat. All right. So if you guys have no idea what I'm covering, let's just all remind everybody. Okay? This is every N-word had a lady but me.
The coons gave a ball the other night. The wench's that attended day was dressed way out of sight. Every nigger had on his very best, was a-putting on a lot of lugs and trying to do the rest. Sports and gamblers made a great big bluff. Crooked crap shooters, they were looking for the stuff.
Whoa.
There was many a funny sight to see.
Why does he say it like that? That's a really good question. Do you guys want to see his song about the butt parasite that turns you gay? Hold on. Hello. Where the fuck? Why are you called? Fauci called me and then left immediately. Dude, he called me and then left immediately. That's crazy. Where did I put my Discord? Unhide. There we go. We'll see if he calls me back. Oh, Diesel, I'm glad you're doing this during Black History Month.
Being weird. Hello, Diesel.
Hello, Fauci.
What the fuck did I send my chat into?
Oh, so I'm covering a guy who, so have you ever heard the hit song, There's an N-word on the moon?
Hey, Diesel. No. Why? Am
I okay? No.
Are you reverting to your old ways?
No. This guy does ragtime tunes. Have you never heard them?
Oh, no, I literally just listened. Ah!
Here, get in.
I'm listening. No!
You can sing along with him if you want. I know you do that.
You should die.
Oh, babies, gather round old Uncle Rastus. I want
to tell you something very strange.
The color
What?
of the moon I'm going to change, and the coon is to blame. The white trash will fool all those what's easy. They think we are ignorant, I presume. The eclipse tomorrow night will prove that I is right. There's a nigger in the moon. No white trash can...
I am aghast. What the fucking fuck am I listening to? What in God's name? Why do you find the craziest fucking people on the internet? What is this? What is this, man? How do we kill him, or how do we preserve him for all time?
I've watched so many of these songs. All of the songs are like, oh, I used to have a lovely wife, and I fucked her every night, and then a black man came to town and did it better.
So it's cuckoldry, the song?
No, these are all like over 200-year-old songs, but he's playing them because he wants to say the N-word. But then you listen to every song, and the song is like, black men took my wife, and so then I had to get my boys together and lynch him. And that's every single one of these ragtime songs.
Diesel.
Yes.
Why do you do this? Why do you do this to me?
I think this is really funny, actually.
No, it is. It's absolutely hilarious.
He
What the
also
fuck?
thinks that the world is he's a flat earther too.
No.
Right? He's a flat earther, and he believes that actually the moon is a projection of the true Earth, and that actually if you laid the moon out like a big carpet, you could travel from like Earth to Atlantis to all the other places, and that Agartha is real.
What the fuck is Agartha?
Agartha is the hollow Earth. That's where all the Yakubian A10I people come from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just call it I just call it Hollow Earth.
yeah. Well,
totally
Agartha
lost.
is the land, right? Hollow Earth is the concept, right? And that actually the reason that you can't see the sun sometimes is because there's a black sun. And yes, he does use that exact icon that you're thinking of in your head when I say black sun.
Yeah, it's crazy. A former friend of yours used to, use that as a jump scare in Discords all the time.
Which one?
Josh.
Oh. I hadn't thought about that person in a long time.
We're fucking. Well, man, we've been through too much. We've been through too much. Oh, while I have you here, thoughts on recent events, Diesel. How do you feel?
Are you trying to put me in a clip chimp right now? Because it's not going to work.
No. I was gonna say, how do you feel about it being 8 years since the hanging?
What the fuck happened 8 years ago?
I'm talking about your fucking video, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, that one. It's okay. Nobody watched it anyway.
You want to know what? I did. I even put a like on the video.
Thank you. My brother also said he watched it, which is a rare one.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, I need to go to bed, and by bed I mean study, and then be an hour away in 5 hours. So I will see you all later, guys. Remember to like and subscribe to Diesel IRL. And remember, the FBS Diesel channel is great. Buy Mana Potion Coffee today at manapotioncoffee.com. Check out with code D10 to get 10% off listed items, select items on your order. And also, remember to go to Mana Potion Tabletop, located in somewhere in New York. I know where. I don't know how fucking public he is about it.
I mean, it's like on the website, but yeah.
Okay, in Beacon, New York,
Yeah.
home of the Installation Museum. So you can also, while going to get your tabletop needs, could also go to the Art Installation Museum. It's very beautiful, by the way. I've been there before. It's very, very
They
nice.
should hire you for the fucking tourism board now.
I listen. There's somebody who should have hired me, and that. Bye, everybody.
Goddamn. All right. The last, I'll get back to the conspiracy part of him, but I think we should all watch the parasite pill video one more time. So this is one of his new conspiracy theories that he believes. He believes that there's butt parasites and that Jews are actually secret parasites that sneak into your brain and make you want to have gay sex.
We have worms, little itty bitty worms. We've got worms, wriggling worms.
You guys gotta understand, he's a noticer.
Do you remember in Eden?
You know what? Actually, this puts it in context more now that I know that he believes that there's a secret land beyond planet Earth.
Eve said, let's get feeding. Now all of a sudden they're scheming and feeling all jealous and greedy. But there wasn't no serpents, no siree, there weren't. Even Adam had worms, so wondering if it was worth it. Now with knowledge forbidden, Yahweh said, are you kidding? Another alien invader, good luck. I'll catch you later. There are worms in our butts, and they're driving people nuts. We have worms in our butts, they keep mussing everything up. We have worms.
Guys, you gotta understand, this is, I know I said this on a prior stream, but it's just like, oh, now that we've taken over the world, let's do the important bit. Let's leave the clues everywhere.
Worms. We've got worms, wriggling worms. You know those pharaohs in Egypt? Well, you'll never believe it. They worshipped kitties whose feces was filled with wormy diseases. And the snakes on their crowns when you look at them upside down. It's the parasite hiding in plain sight. Like some suspicious traditions of brisk to bite the baby children. It likes to ride in saliva. It's why you kiss the bride. There are worms in our butts and they're driving.
What happens when parasites enter the brain of a human host? Can the brain be damaged to influence human behavior? Can the brain be damaged to limit human cognitive abilities? What are NPCs? Do humans have a second brain? What is the enteric nervous system? Where are parasites commonly found? Can parasites residing in gut influence behavior? What are gut instincts? What is the subconscious? Can the subconscious be manipulated? Can parasites manipulate the subconscious?
People nuts, you have worms in your butt and they turned you into a slut.
Guys, the worms in your butt turned you into a whore.
Wonder why you're cranky or crave anal hanky-panky. It's these worms in our butts, now we become completely cucked. We have worms, little itty bitty worms. We've got worms, worms. We have worms.
Yeah, the pharaohs who definitely had microscopes knew what the parasites looked like. Well, he says in a prior video where he's talking about the world actually being large and flat and filled with secret societies and planes of existence, that the ancient Egyptians had a secret ability and power, and also that the pyramids are actually giant lasers. But he actually believes that, like, unironically. And by the way, the lasers thing was like an offhanded comment he made, not like a full fucking deep dive. It was just like a small portion of his larger theory.
We've got worms, worms. Did you ever learn about the Knights Templar? They had a fruity ritual to be a member. When your turn was up to be inducted, you had to kiss another knight in his buttocks. Ever wonder why there's more and more pedos? It's the wormy squirming in their heados, like the bugs who...
Maybe like there's just more pedos because we're like outing people who are problems. Not that there's more worms running around rotting people's brains.
Brains are infecting, so they climb until the birdies ingest them. As the wormy birdies fly into the sky, the pedos spread the parasites. If you doubt this,
the concept of pedophiles being a parasite rather than like people capable of insane evil is insane.
Massive deception, just try and mention ivermectin.
Yeah, the ivermectin.
There are worms in our butts, and they're driving people nuts.
One of the most frightening things I've ever heard was someone pointed out the existence of Uncanny Valley implies that at some point there was an evolutionary reason to be afraid of something that looked human but wasn't. By the way, that's the guy who created Iron Lung being clipped out of context.
We have worms in our butts when you listen to your gut. It's the viral hive that's hiding inside your host intestinal lining. Why? These worms in my butt keep on telling me what's what. We have worms, little itty bitty worms. We've got worms, wriggly worms. We have worms, little.
Which, by the way, he used to be like a woke conspiracy guy, where he was like being very like cool with Chelsea Manning and Julian Assange.
Little bitty worms. We've got worms, wriggly worms. There's a reason you're consuming all this sugar and drinking lots of booze and using hookers. When Rowdy Roddy put on his sunglasses, he's so...
Guys, the worm is making you drink beer and have sex with hookers. Oh, so the worm is making me cool? Fuck.
Suddenly can see their wormy asses, cause lurking right outside our dimension, the hive mind is dying for attention, so it sent us as a present wormy minions to eliminate all human opinion, while vying to conspire with each nation.
This is like actually crazy. There's so much here I could unpack, but like, so the worms are sending lookalike humans to spread the horde, like gene stealers.
Contaminated radiation, can't you tell we're living on a plantation for millennia? We've been in an invasion. There are worms.
To be clear, he's talking about alien worms invading the planet. destabilizing society.
In our butts, and they're driving people nuts. We have worms in our butts, they keep mussing everything up. There are worms in our butts, and they're driving people nuts. You have worms in your butt, they've turned you into
I don't think I've watched the full song before.
Ever wonder why you're cranky or crave anal hanky-panky? It's these
Guys, why do you crave anal sex? It's worms. You don't like butt sex? What you like is the worms seeping into your mind and rotting you.
worms in our butts. Now we've become completely cooked. There are worms in our butts, and they're driving people nuts. We have worms in our butts when you listen to your gut. It's the viral hive that's hiding inside your host intestinal lining. All these worms in our butts, politicians got a lot. We have worms, little itty bitty worms. We've got worms, wriggling worms. We have worms, little itty bitty worms. We've got worms, wriggling worms.
Guys, conclusion. The dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, is a transsexual hive mind. The devil and Satan is a transsexual hive mind sentient neural network of fungi, which encompasses the entire world, and which collectively calls himself the Queen of Heaven and Moon Goddess of Sex. He uses parasite demons to infect the children of God, by which he tempts them, influences them, and kills them, and even takes complete and total control through the demonic, parasitic possession in order to turn them into obedient sex slave zombies, which he uses to remake the world in which the queen rules over all. So the Queen of Heaven, and then there's like a big mushroom fungoid, and then the fungoid controls the Illuminati, which, so through DNA, the Satan Queen of Sex controls the fungus, and the fungus controls the Jewish Illuminati. Illuminati are Jewish, but you know, whatever. And then the Jewish Illuminati gives money to regular Jews, and then the Jews give Americans hamburgers. Me explaining a conspiracy theory to an American. So imagine a hamburger. I am not a parasite. Do not make peace with worms, destroy them. Wow. Wow. There are worms in our butts, and they're making people nuts. Oh boy. This is not the hamburger shonen I ordered. Dude, there are worms in our butts. I don't think I have the patience to listen to the Crater Earth stuff anymore. But here's him apparently going over the banned words. So he's talking about So as a noticer, he's apparently really good at anagrams and word games.
And then they came for the word autists, and I could stay silent no more. In the long ago of 2020, with COVID on temporary hiatus, and while mostly peaceful protests had erupted as the mass formation du jour, not even the quaint and innocuous world of Scrabble was safe from the fury of the woke mind virus. As is typical of
the woke mind virus. You know what I think is behind that? Worms.
the virus, once you give it an inch, it continues to take everything until nothing is left. What started as a debate over removing a handful of slurs from the official Scrabble dictionary ultimately resulted in an unhinged purge of hundreds of words deemed to be wrongthink by the lexicon overlords. Some were perhaps to be expected, but others were utterly nonsensical. For example, the term graybeard was removed from one dictionary for being ageist, despite it also referring to a type of drinking jug. Some offensive...
I would still... Like, this only... By the way, this only matters if you're, like, playing competitive Scrabble. But one of his, like, this is unironically one of his problems with woke, is that he is... that he is a competitive Scrabbler. So he's mad that he can't play the slurs in his competitive Scrabble.
Offensive words were kept in due to having multiple non-offensive definitions, like fag, and yet others were removed regardless, and sometimes only the plural form of a noun. Like poof was kept in because it refers to a sound, but poofs was removed because in that form it means gay men. Also, ho, the exclamation, is still allowed, but the plural hoes, as in ma bitches, has also been expurgated. So if Santa shows up and goes, ho ho, and you say, only 2 hoes this year, you're literally breaking Scrabble. Naturally,
yeah, but like, who gives a shit if I'm playing Scrabble with my homies?
This has been an extremely controversial move in the competitive Scrabble community, as all woke infiltration is meant to do. People who obsessively study word lists usually have little interest in the definitions of the words. They're in it for the pattern recognition and puzzle solving. For those of us who are basically trying to memorize the pattern...
Dude, maybe momentary discomfort. In the last few weeks, players have told stories about games in which the C word and the J word hit the board. I've never played a game of Scrabble where the guy sitting across from me plays that word.
Not definitions of the words in the dictionary. The more words, the merrier. We aren't upset that we can't use slurs. We're upset that we can't use...
All right, let's just go to the banned words. Is this just him with definitions of slurs? Dude, I've never even heard of these words. Oh my god. I've never heard of this word before. I've never heard of these. Bint? I've never heard of bint. That's a fake word. All right, well, that black fella could definitely go. Oh my god. Cholo, they removed Cholo from the official Scrabble competitive. Damn, I've never heard that one before, but that one's super racist. A crack. Crumblies? I've never heard that one before either. Yeah, dude went on a big book of slurs. What the fuck? I've never heard that slur either. These are bad. A colored person? All right, let's show your ass with that. Maybe a person of color. I've never heard of this. This is just me going, I could be worse. I've never learned these words. Yeah. All right, okay. Well, you know, this word was, of course, going to be removed. Imagine sitting down to play Scrabble and the guy plays the word N-word head. Or plays N-word. Guys, I can't believe it. They removed the N-word from the Scrabble dictionary. Every single one I've seen has been justifiably removed. Guys, remember, he's standing 10 toes down on this, okay? Also thinks the world is flat. Let's put it in perspective. Oh. I've never heard of a papist. So that's a slur for a Catholic, I guess. Papistic? He's a racist flat earther who thinks the Jews control the world. Papist. Oh, excuse me. What the fuck? This is actually like a 1600s word. Diesel needs to watch more British TV or maybe ask Hal about some of these. I guarantee you Hal wouldn't know what some of these are. Right? Like Hal is like a real working class Brit, so she's like been exposed to plenty. But, like, I guarantee you a bunch of this wouldn't even fucking register on her brain. You're all just sitting here watching me staring at a guy give definitions for slurs. That's what we're doing. Dude, this guy's a real racist. He's like learned all the words. Okay, so hold on. Let me check this before I show it. So he's been on X.com, aka Twitter, aka X, the everything app. And he posted about Sandy Hook. Yep, he's also a Sandy Hook truther. And he wrote a Sandy Hook mega thread explaining that Sandy Hook was actually a fake. Sandy Hook mega thread. This man is an expert on school safety and school shooting protocols. They destroyed his reputation and career for asking very valid questions about the Sandy Hook response. This is one of the most damning documentaries that debunkers refuse to touch. I'm not even gonna click on it. He's posting like 3-hour videos and he's like, sit down, watch this 3-hour video. This may be the most comprehensive and well-known Sandy Hook documentary, and for good reason. This combines the research of many citizen journalists, schizophrenics. I defy anyone to watch this film and come away believing the official story. Hashtag slave our slug. Bonk has finally begun the lawsuit arc, first threatening me, the goodest of boys. Sad mollusk holding a giant Labubu plushie emoji. That's okay. They're poor. You're fine. The masterclass by Sophia Smallstorm is one of the more concise and devastating deconstruction. This is a fucking hour and a half long video. So is this. Dude, the fact that only Alex Jones got sued is crazy. Let me be fucking dramatic, Diesel Pim. Easily the most infamous and recognizable anomaly surrounding Sandy Hook is a bizarre reaction of Robbie Parker, who was caught laughing and getting into character less than 24 hours after allegedly losing his daughter. This footage makes the debunkers big mad. I'm sorry, if Erica Kirk is allowed to, like, smile after her husband dies, then we gotta allow this guy, okay?
Statement, looks like the family is there, and they're getting ready to come to the microphone, so we'll listen in.
So, like, if your child is killed, should you be constantly, like, a grieving mess? Like, you gotta get on camera. These news reporters are outside your home.
Okay.
Like when I have death in my life, I'm not constantly miserable all the time.
So my name's Robbie Parker. My
statement.
That wasn't even that bad. All right. Gene Rosen is easily one of the most infamous crisis actors of all time. This is a litmus test for normies. If you watch this and it doesn't make you extremely unsettled, then you're unequivocally an NPC.
Nancy, I want to be with these children. I want to read to them. I want to show them there's life.
So, like, who is this? Like, actually, is this like a guy or is this like just some random man?
Away from the darkness. I want to be...
Dude, Sandy Hook was one of those events that broke America. It was like 9/11, Sandy Hook, Epstein, and then COVID, followed immediately by George Floyd, have been like really transcendental events for like the American psyche, okay? I guess Columbine in some respects, but like I feel like that didn't really have the same staying power. But maybe it's because I wasn't alive for Columbine.
Their grandpa, their uncle. Gene, whoever. I want to spend time with them as much as they will allow and their parents will allow. I want them to come to my home. I just want to love them.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Call me Grandpa or Uncle Gene.
So is this just like the local old coot who like showed up and he's like, I want to spend time with the children. Before they cracked down, YouTube was littered with insane footage exposing Sandy Hook. Here's an example. Why on earth do these people appear to be walking in circles throughout the day of the event? It's a school. Are people not busy on a school day? This is one of the strangest photos ever. This is a manipulated, artificially image, generated and published by the mainstream media outlets as real. Community Notes tried to fact check by claiming we didn't have the tech in 2012, but the community note was removed. The AI image generators do not work. Dude, the community note on this is crazy. Extremely suspicious footage of Gene Rosen has never been properly explained. Incredibly, Community Notes debunked this by claiming this footage is from a local TV station, but they failed to provide a single source to back it up, followed by a series of many sources.
I'm coming home, I know my lines, and now I've got to try and fool you with my wines. If you have seen my face displayed on every TV screen, then you know just what to think of me, Creepy Gene. You can call me Grampy Gene. Well, tie a green ribbon around the Sandy Hook tree. It's been 12 long years. Do you still believe in me? If I don't see green...
Dieselthin, I have given the tea I bought from you to my coworkers. They wish to know what Fudanari Mana Potion Coffee does to make a good peach tea. Also, chat free our slug. He's being trapped by horse people, and his foreskin is being harvested. Well, maybe it grows back. Have we ever thought of that?
Ribbons round the Sandy Hook tree. I'll bring out the juiced up animals to become mean Grampy Jean. If I don't see green ribbons round the Sandy Hook tree. Bus driver, please look for me. Hey.
This is random, but what state does he live in? He sounds like an East Coaster, I'm not gonna lie.
No stranger danger, I'm cuddly as can be. I never made it as an actor, guess you bullies all agree. A simple green.
Dude, you know what's been really annoying watching the Minneapolis protest? Is like all of these fucking Twitter weirdos are like, it is interesting how all of these people are able to organize almost like they are paid actors. It's like, what the fuck? People can organize all the time without being like a paid plant. What are you fucking talking about?
Ribbons, all I need to set me free. Behold, I'm Grampy G. Well, tie a green ribbon around the Sandy Hook tree. It's been 12 long years. Do you still believe in me? If I don't see green ribbons around the Sandy Hook.
Isn't organizing how protests happen? Yeah, but everybody thinks every protest now is organized by paid agitators. Because social media has given everybody low-grade psychosis.
I'll break out the juiced up animals to become green.
How do they think the people in Nepal were able to overthrow their government? They don't know that Nepal exists.
If I don't see green ribbons around the Sandy Hook tree. Now the whole damn town is glowing, and Alex Jones is history. I see gazillions of green ribbons around the Sandy Hook's tree.
Mommy, what is Daddy doing in his study? Oh, don't worry, honey. Daddy's just writing a song about how all these kids didn't actually die. God, this guy's actually super fucking crazy. Like, actually super fucking crazy. Oh, man. This guy is, like, actually a fucking super schizo, dude. Thank you for the dollar, Slug. Your dollars are just as green as anybody else's. There's he has an Alex Jones Was Right song. Well, I guess we're gonna look at that. He's mainly just a Sandy Hook guy on Twitter.
Who got his kicks impersonating Mr. Hicks, till one day he played another trick and said, "My name is Alex Jones. Let me show you how all this goes." He spotted Bin Laden plotting something worse. The old Bill Cooper saw it first, and when those towers
He's so talented. The fact that he's so fucking stupid is insane.
up and
But the only reason I'm saying that is because there's a worm inside my butt that's making me gay.
burst, they got
And want fudas, according to Slug. But you know what they say, Slug? This guy was talking about it. Okay? He was talking about how there's parasites in our ass making us like gay sex.
guns pour Cooper down. Then Alex
Of which Fuda is gay, so, you know.
on the crown. He might have missed the mark on Y2K. It's alright.
The 9/11 Cirrus video is fucking wild. He genuinely thinks Aleister Crowley cast a spell to make 9/11 happen. Well, we might as well take a gander. He's so meandering and long-winded that it's hard to, like, watch those.
star in the sky, but it's nearly twice as bright as the next contender, a curious fact which may give a profound hint about our world. The so-called dog days of summer reference the heliacal rising of Sirius, or when it first becomes visible suffering humanity. Is there a hidden or occult connection between Sirius, secret societies, and human history? Is there a much more enigmatic side to
Listen, guys, he's just asking questions. He is a noticer.
the dog star? Does Sirius hint at a long, obfuscated truth concerning the very nature of our reality? Could it express the process of illumination mankind has been given the divine opportunity to experience? Have hidden forces maintained this knowledge for millennia to meme status? But despite countless tinfoil interpretations, the symbols persist. Are they mere antiquated relics of the rituals and fraternities of yore, or do they mean something more? Researcher Michael Hoffman writes, the emblem of the all-seeing eye above the unfinished pyramid is the representation of the eye of Sirius, of its omniscient surveillance. The entire calendar year of the Egyptians was based upon the rising times of this star.
You know how hard it is to make a powdered tea or powdered beverages in general? I don't have the chemistry or the millions of dollars to make that happen. You know how expensive it is to like manufacture and develop a thing like this, like G Fuel? Fucking really expensive. We've tried. Because we looked into it and it's like mad expensive.
Secret organizations hold Sirius in the highest regard, such as Freemasonry. The Freemasonic legacy of the founding of the United States is self-evident. The 4th of July, American Independence Day, corresponds with the annual Sun-Sirius conjunction. The founding of the Bavarian Illuminati itself, an infamous organization dedicated to fomenting revolution, is temporally connected to the birth of the USA, as the secret society was founded merely 3 days before the first U.S. state declared independence. In many occult traditions like Freemasonry, Sirius plays a significant role. It is often depicted as the destination of the Mason's journey. Sirius is the sacred place to which all Masons must strive to ascend. It is the source of divine...
I don't have the patience to listen to all this yapping about fucking philosophical, antiquated little fucking thoughts that he has, okay? Alex Jones would have killed it in the WWE, yes. The Foundering says Epstein didn't kill himself because he's still alive on Twitter. God. God. It's so bad. His Twitter's really fucked. His Twitter's fucked. He's genuinely brain melted, yeah. Hmm. There will be a Futanari NPC named Prophet of Diesel. Okay. I can't tell what's a bit with you and what's like genuine, but if you are working on something, I hope it goes well. There's a lot here on his Twitter that's fucked. He's pretty forward about it. You know? But I think now I will actually end the stream. I'm tired. It's 3 hours, okay? That's a longer stream than usual. Usually I'm 2 hour Andy. God, fuck. All right, good night for real.